Alrighty, and welcome. Sorry, that's loud. To Magnus Aevum episode 12. Capital idea, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Time for recap.
I should get my character up.
Do we want to do a recap?
No.
It's been a while.
Yeah. I think
know.
Richard should do it.
Ha.
Richard wasn't here for part of it, so it's going to be a problem if he remembers anything.
I was tied to a lizard.
Oh, yeah. What the fuck's... There we go.
Not this
I
one.
escaped the
Apple
lizard.
or my character's
Different
located?
lizard.
Now we're going to the capital.
I don't know. I have no idea.
All right, so after Jen inadvertently awakened a dragon god
I don't know what
and
you're talking
royally
about.
fucked a city,
I've done nothing.
Gwen died
Yeah.
like she deserved.
Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong.
What's the other girl's name who died?
But Adriana.
Yeah, Adriana
and
is dead, so that whole arc about us trying to find Adriana ultimate culminated in them dying.
Alden is also dead, as is Lucretia.
Yep, we find out Lucretia's dead from a juicy box.
Yeah, well, we knew she was dead before him, most likely.
Most likely.
Because of the whole hospital shit.
It was heavily implied.
Whereas
This is an
Alden, they
NPC
did
for
actually
the
find his body,
character.
and he was dead, so... You know. Rest in peace to one of the NPCs I cared about.
Either way, last session, ultimately all that ended up happening is we loaded boxes on a train.
Yeah.
Thing.
It was
I don't know
like
if
a
it's a wagon
mechanical
train.
wagon.
It's a wagon.
Yeah.
It's a wagon train.
A wagon, if you will.
Richard was with my snaky bitch. And snaky bitch tied him and lizard dude to a pole and made him play Claptrap. My favorite game.
You don't have a lot of games, do you?
And he,
Nope.
he totally didn't almost die.
It's that in Tetris.
I had everything under control. I don't know what you're
Exactly.
talking about.
I had everything under control with the dragon thing, too, so I don't know what you guys...
That was clearly not under control.
It's under the most
It was under the dragon's control.
It was under the most
Not our
control I
control.
could have had.
Well, you know, things happen.
Let's see, what else? Snake bitch wanted to talk to Priya. The guard here said no.
My name is Travis.
Travis.
There was also, why am I blanking on her name?
I don't know.
The sewer bitch.
I didn't write it down.
I know it's in here somewhere.
Aquila?
Yeah, no.
No, Aquila is Snake
Felicia.
bitch.
Yeah, Felicia.
Now they nod.
She works for Aquila, and
Too late
she
for that.
likes putting people to sleep. And she has tattoos.
Giggity.
Yeah, I think we covered it all.
And she gave us a gift from Aquila, which was Lucretia's head, so that's cool.
Oh, I bought coffee.
You did.
And a house, actually. I forgot about that one.
You did buy a house.
How did
One-
you remember
one
the
is-
coffee, not the house?
One
Honey,
is
what did you
significantly
spend?
Better
more
question
important.
is where did he buy the house and does he recall?
I have a general idea.
Honey, where'd the 100
'Cause
gold
I tried to
go?
put it by the
I
Coliseum.
bought coffee.
Okay.
You spent 100 gold on coffee?
Just making sure.
Yeah, I have a
I
general.
think
Yeah.
so.
I don't remember.
So
I could
Lamel
be-
is finally not homeless.
Yay.
I mean, he wasn't homeless
Right.
before. He was a vagrant, so it was a little different.
Mhm.
He was a squatter, let's be real.
Tomato, tomato.
But how much
I
could he
have
squat?
permission to squat. That's the difference.
How much could he squat, though?
Tree fitty.
Probably a lot.
It's always about tree fitting.
Tree fitty.
All right.
Either way, Dominus is not here to do Dominus things.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
So he just...
he pulled an
No,
Elvis and
he'll be in the wagon train.
died on the
Don't worry
toilet.
Okay.
about it. Wow.
I like my idea better.
It just has terrible runs the whole fucking train ride.
Look, man, you can do whatever you want to do about your dad. It's fine. I'm just...
My headcanon, he's just...
yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
It's not a train. They're wagons.
Dragon.
Wayne.
Anyway. A week has passed. Your series of wagons, horse-drawn and pulled. Some of them are covered. Some are built for sleeping. Most are built for carrying a lot of delicate equipment and odds, ends, and supplies you're going to need. Well, Priya and Dominus will definitely need. You all are a lot more questionable about that regard. You decided to travel with, I'm assuming, for convenience sake, if you're going in the same direction?
Yeah.
Sound about right?
Mm-hmm. Before we left, I did have something important that I wanted to take care of.
You can do it on the road, unless it has to be done in Palmares.
Well, I just don't know if carting around that head is a good idea.
Oh, I mean, the way you implied you were going to have it with you for weeks.
All right, now I'm just going to shrink it, make a little voodoo doll type deal.
Oh, it's going to be a shrunken head style now?
Yeah.
Ugh, it's getting creepy.
Just kidding.
I'd like
wouldn't
to
do
repeat,
that.
I'm not in that wagon. I'm in a different
So-
wagon.
The evening before you left,
Mhm.
you dealt with, Richard dealt with Aquila and a different lizard than Adrit,
Yeah.
along with Felicia. Eventually, Priya and Aquila had a very brief conversation.
No, they didn't.
Oh, no, you're right, they didn't.
No, they had zero
You-
conversation.
You and Aquila had a conversation. There was a present left,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and we discovered what's in the box, which was Lucretia's head.
Yeah.
And Adrit had an idea of talking to the dead.
Hmm.
I'm guessing that means Adrit wants to do that before you all left.
If that's all right.
I don't have a problem with it.
All right. So Adrit kind of motions for Priya to join him in case she has any suggestions. But he does have questions in mind already.
I'm gonna put my hand on Adric's shoulder before you do this. I want you to understand sometimes the dead should just stay dead. And I walk out.
Ooh.
That was incredibly cryptic. I do not know why he could not just be straightforward with me. We are friends.
It's the war, man. It's the war.
I do not think you have PTSD. I could be wrong.
What's PTSD?
You'll figure it out when you're older.
Keep the time.
How old is he now?
He's like 28. He's older.
He's a child.
Yeah, it's not right. So, wait, I cast Speak with Dead with Priya in the room, keeping in mind what Richard said, which just kind of baffles me. Like, I get where he's coming from, but you could have elaborated.
Nope.
I thought it was pretty elaborate.
As, you know, he does the different ritual motions with his staff and everything, and begins prayer. Xanatos, allow me to speak with this poor soul once more. Lucretia, I didn't ask anything yet. I apologize for your untimely demise. I feel as though you had more to do in this world, but your life was stripped away. You still can be of use to the world, though, and perhaps accomplish your goals. Firstly, I would ask you to name your enemies.
I would name a paladin of war and those of his retinue.
I have no idea if the mic's picking any of that up, by the way.
I would name a paladin of war and those of his retinue. What?
I'm saying it shrilly, so
No, I'm just informing you.
it picks up chips.
That's a fair
If
point.
it picks it up, cool. I'm just throwing it out there. I barely pick it up, but that's because I'm fucking deaf.
All right, so
If it
she
didn't pick it up, I'm sorry.
He does not like the paladin of war.
Does anyone like him?
I don't know. I never met the guy. I can't form an opinion yet.
Oh, I can tell. Yeah.
Also name
Oh, there's more.
my former friend, Adriana.
Well, she is dead, so I suppose that is not an issue anymore.
Is she, though?
Pretty sure they confirmed her body. Yeah.
Her body was found, yes.
Yeah. I don't know how. I feel like it could have just been, but. And then I'm assuming that's all she says for that one, then? Alright.
I just wanted to ramble on for like 40 minutes of that.
Tell me,
Little Master.
everyone who has ever spited you. Spited you. Like, was there some guy making a sandwich that spit in it? I mean, I'd like to know.
Too much mayonnaise.
This bit's going on too long. I would like you to name these enemies' goals in relation to your project.
No.
She says, fuck off.
I'm just gonna write for that answer down. Alright then. Is there a failsafe for your project in case the information ends up in the wrong hands? And if so, what is it?
You're doing these interview questions over here?
Yes. What is your former job
This
experience,
is his
if
thing.
any?
He does this a lot.
And did you make sure to bring your social security card and any identification?
Can I have your current will? Am I in it?
So the actual question is which part?
No, so like, is there a failsafe for this project? Because I know there's like maybe a couple people left that know about it and
Is
stuff.
there a panic button?
Yeah,
Did
is
we
there
push
something I
it?
can go- Nope.
If the device is built, then it would have to overload or be drained. There is no word or button.
There's no traditional failsafe. Got it.
There is a cycle that can be started. It takes time. And requires a lot of water.
Time to boil the world's oceans.
We're talking about a cycle requires a lot of water. Are we just like a washing machine?
Probably like by a lake.
No, it's like a fucking tycoon, guys.
Zoo
Tsunami.
All right.
typhoon? You mean typhoon?
I don't know. Words are hard.
The last power anything with a tsunami involved was not a positive result.
Yeah, I never
Just
said it
saying.
was a good thing. I just said. Also, I just want to point out, this motherfucker over here is writing in full-on cursive.
That's just how I write.
I didn't know they still taught that.
It's been going on like 10 years now, just full on cursive.
I didn't know they taught that. There's an F in
Thank
my
you.
name, and I don't know how to write a cursive F. Or a J.
They're kind of similar,
It's all
actually.
squiggles. I don't fucking know.
Lots of cursive is squiggles.
Yeah, I know.
All right, fourth question.
It's the idea of it being fluid.
My cough is making this voice not fun.
Yeah, same. That's why I'm being careful.
Is there anyone you would have us get in contact with? Bearing in mind, Alden is dead.
Really want to.
My family should know what happened. That I was out.
Hmm?
That I was killed. And the familiars are at fault.
Ooh.
Only makes sense since, Aquila brought your head and everything.
Or she could have just been like rummaging through rubble, like, ooh. All right. That is a very good piece of information.
Tell my sister that she can open the box now. And all that's in it is hers.
All right.
How did Alden die?
I believe, if I recall correctly, he was in his workshop and was not able to evacuate when the mountain had erupted. Priya, does this check out?
I do not know about a mountain. Yes, that is what I do know. I would actually want to ask her something if you don't have anything specific.
Well, I did have a fifth question, but I feel as though I already received the answer for it, at least partially. So,
Do tell, it may relate to mine.
my final question, as is tradition, is to ask the final wish of the deceased. However, in the previous question, she had mentioned telling her sister to open the box now, whichever this box is, of course. And that does sound like something of a final wish.
You seem to be of a mind to carry out a priest's actions. I'll reserve my question if not to trounce on your ideas.
Tradition is only important insofar as we get the information we need beforehand. So, I have shared my question. What was yours?
I was going to see if she knew where the device was.
And are we entirely certain this is a good idea?
No.
But if she is the only one of the three that we can speak to that is now deceased, and they're the only three that had the knowledge besides what we've acquired from Alden's lab, would not a direct answer be useful?
This is a fair point. It is not that I do not trust you, Priya, but of the individuals I have dealt with that had power vested in them, I know you the least. I knew Lucretia better, and I knew Adriana better, and I certainly knew Gwen better. And with this, I am hesitant to reveal any kind of information about such a potential deadly device to anyone. This is not the only time I can cast this ritual.
What if the device is out there and it's found, and it's not by someone that has your reservations?
That is my other concern, which is why I am heavily considering allowing you to ask this question. As I said, I do have more trust in you than a stranger or an enemy.
Then why don't we solve the issue? We'll leave the room. And leave just Adrit and Lucretia. Then the one with the moral decision would be you.
Before you make your decision, Adrit, I would like to share with you a bit of wisdom from the homeland.
Well, this should be good.
They have an expression, risk it for the biscuit. In this case, the biscuit so sweet you should risk compromising your morals for answering this question of yours. If it means the safety of your people, that biscuit looks even sweeter, doesn't it?
This biscuit does indeed look sweet. However, I'm not so worried about compromising my morals, but compromising countless lives.
Then this would certainly make the biscuit even sweeter.
Your honeyed words are more easily understandable than political jargon. Fine, then. Priya, thank you for being understanding. And I must say, you have erased some doubts from my mind by suggesting that I am the one to talk to her and her alone.
You have a very weird way of coming up with
I'm
analogies.
surprisingly good with encouragement.
Is that what that was supposed to be?
D8.
You left the room.
He just kind of opens the door, peeks in. By the
Heard
way,
you needed this.
I thoroughly objected to this entire proceedings, but that was awesome. Here you go.
all right. I will need peace and quiet in order to make sure I do not screw up, as it were.
So are we leaving the room or no?
Get out.
Okay, I'm gonna turn to you and kind of give you a look of, do I need to pay attention or do I need to leave? Okay.
So Priya leaves,
All right.
goes and finds Richard.
Yeah, I guess me too.
Done already?
No,
Something like that.
Adrid has a personal question.
I was about to do the bit that you said the first stream. No.
That's the last question.
I have a
Then I
personal
wanted
question.
to.
Asking for a friend. Okay.
So bad.
Oh, Lord.
It's so good.
You know,
Although I am doubtful you are willing to share the information, likely much for the same reasons that I would be unwilling to release the information myself. Do you know where the device is located, or any kind of information on it?
I know where it was to be built. I cannot see well enough, nor feel anything. So words will have to do. Northwest is a range of mountains with a lock that does not freeze.
With a lock that does not freeze? A lock at... Okay, got that part.
A facility was to be built there. The device would have been constructed in place.
Bless you. So is that all then?
The soul fades away.
The what?
The soul fades away.
Soul.
For answering the fifth question.
Alright. Well, I wish I had a sixth question. I was going to ask her if she wants to just... Or if she wants me to preserve her, but now she doesn't get an option, so L. So with this, I take the La Head and Le Box, and I head out to Priya, and I say, no, before we leave, is there anywhere in town or in your possession do you have materials to preserve her? I can always ask again 10 days later, just in case there is information that we need that we did not think to ask.
And this is a good idea to you?
Seems pretty gross to
No.
me.
I can't think of anything I need to ask her.
All right, then.
You have your answer from my question?
Indeed.
Then I have nothing further.
Do you know, any of you, how she would have liked to be, for lack of better words, disposed of? Cremation, burial?
Probably traditional ways. Her family can handle it.
That is a fair point. Also, I don't know how well the family would take
To dumping a head
Dumping
on their doorstep.
their
Yeah, that might not go over so well.
what he said, and he said.
I think a traditional funeral pyre will be fine.
That will be very small.
Yeah, it's only a head that's burning. We don't need a big fire. You can do it on the road.
Well, then I will see to the preparations for that. Thank you for allowing me this time, all of you. And with this,
It was educational.
Adrit starts packing up his shit and getting ready to burn ahead.
Did you know that he could summon the dead?
I didn't know specifically that he could summon the dead. He's a man of many talents.
You should keep an eye on him.
I'll keep 2 eyes.
History. You're already reacting appropriately, but history check from the two of you.
I also
Jen
wanted
should
to
too.
ask that mountain range. Is there any kind of check I could make?
Ooh, it's a big
mountain range?
number.
Like the one that's missing?
No, the one that she mentioned.
Oh, yeah.
It's the one that's
nature.
missing.
Nature, okay. Is it the one that's missing?
17.
Okay.
18.
How'd you do?
Oh, you wanted me to roll. You said I was acting. Fine.
You're already acting appropriate, but I'm going to do the history anyway.
Ooh.
Okay.
18.
So,
That's kinda great.
playing with the dead versus playing with energies of the dead are two dramatically different things. You can manipulate energies of the dead and it'll be okay, as long as you're not actually animating them. There's the whole
Necromancy is frowned upon.
there's a whole sacredness to death that the body transforms. Clienteer would be even more specific about this. The idea that the residual strength of the spirit relies in the physical body. To summon the body spirit back is to rip the two apart, which is a big, flagrant issue. You don't have to necessarily respond to it, but it would be an issue. The rest of the clans view that the spirit is peeled from the body at death. To force it back in the body is torture, because it goes through all the motions the body's going through,
So
whether they see it or not.
what did I do then?
You tortured a soul.
You just
Yeah.
torture the soul
Oh, great.
by their perspective.
What did I actually do?
You don't know.
Awesome.
That comes down to how you view spirit magic.
You talk to
You played with a
Lucretia's
spirit.
head.
This isn't new for you.
Okay, you know what? Fair enough. It's a cultural thing, guys. Don't worry. If I brutally maim innocents, it's okay.
There would be no taboo in your culture from the way we kind of talked about
Oh
things.
yeah, in my culture for sure.
That would be no issue.
Yeah.
You wouldn't view the body as any more than just a vessel that carries the soul or spirit or whatever. In this case, giving it its body temporarily is more permission to do exactly what you're doing. Speak its last mind, last thoughts.
All right.
So,
Yeah.
respond how you will. You already kind of did, which was, fuck that.
Yeah.
I just do what I'm told.
That's fair. So on the road?
I got an
On
18
the
for my
road
nature
again.
check.
Oh. Disturbingly,
Ooh.
this is near one of the tribe's areas, if you're accurate on a map.
Specifically, the tribe of the lizard that was tied with me.
Nah,
How convenient.
Right?
it's actually adjacent to his tribe directly.
Oh, nice. I got some buddies.
It is a sister tribe, if you will, or brother tribe, whichever way you want to view that.
Probably sister tribe based on our whole goddess worship thing.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
If you were to leave Palmaris and you went up this way, you would go up to the Bellator, right? When you first leave. And if you continued up that way, you go to the mountain range that is now flat. And there's a crater there. If you travel the road down this way, you would get out to Rathis, and then head up towards the capital. If you went from Palmaris and kind of drifted up this way and in, there's a mountain range that curls around the side of this, which is why you can't go direct. Your tribe is in the lower parts of that.
Okay.
This is slightly up and in. And there is a lake. It's a very deep lake. It's like 600 feet deep. That is up there. And it's very small, but just super deep.
Is this a particular lake that pertains to events in the past?
You would probably have some sort of recollection of its relevance.
Like a unnatural lake, perhaps?
It may not be the most natural things.
All right.
Most of those lakes aren't up and the mountains aren't natural
Okay. You know, like no
because they don't freeze when they should.
crazy device that.
No.
Okay.
Not that.
All right. Referencing session 0 stuff.
Yeah, no. I mean,
That was on the other side of the continent.
that was on the other side, yeah.
All right, fair enough. Well, what if it happened a second time?
These are much smaller in scale.
Second session 0.
Ooh.
Yeah, no.
Fuck, I'm doing session 0 again.
He just kind of thinks to himself, all right, I
It
guess
happens in the tens. Every tens.
after we go to the capital, we've got another pit stop to make. Back home, yay!
So a week later, you're coming up around where, just past Raphis, which is a decent-sized city. It's slightly smaller than Palmaris. As you're passing through, you're going to stop basically for supplies, things like that. If anybody has business and wants to explore the city, you can. but the city itself is a very heavy guild city. There's some of the best artisans in the world work here. A couple of companies were founded here as well. But generally speaking, it is a very labor-intensive city, where especially crafts, carpenters, masons, now metalworkers, metallurgists, which are slowly turning into the first company of steel workers. Concrete, like modern concrete, if you will, was invented here, things like that. The magic in the city is all practical that anybody implores. And the one unique feature of the entire place is that there is something referred to as the loop. It's below ground, and it is like a tram in that it's essentially a series of massive mine carts that you can essentially get into, and they more work like a ski lift would on a cable, and it pulls around the entire inner part of the city.
That's cool.
The mine carts aren't made out of metal; they're made out of wood. It's like getting into, actually, it'd be like more like getting inside of a Ferris wheel carriage than anything.
It's like the most primitive subway ever.
Yeah, but pretty much. But the gearworks and everything for it are all controlled by the river that runs alongside the city, and it goes through massive wheelworks and everything, and it powers it. That thing almost never turns off. They have ways to basically put brakes on it, things like that. But it's 100% mechanical. There's no magic involved whatsoever, which is probably one of the biggest unique features about it. Past that, the city itself, the center part of the city is one of the few that actually has multiple levels where buildings are consistently built 2 and 3, even 4 stories tall. The stairs is how everybody gets up and down. There are lifts that are mechanical that are there, but they're not used for daily use. They're used for large-scale use, like moving furniture, for instance, or inventory for businesses. Most of the clothing that is sold in a market system is made here as well. Past that, Rathos itself is an industrial town. It has all of the common industrial issues, which means there's such thing as a smog alert in the city. Happens occasionally, usually on windy days as it gets to the end of winter and early fall. It happens rather consistently. Everybody doesn't want to be near the river in the first melts because it always overflows its banks, which there's a lot of flood controls that are present in the city, but that doesn't change the weird smell of industrial world.
Awesome. It's just
The
like a
smell
theme
of
park
kerosene.
with the sign saying "Industrial World."
Yeah, right. The only thing that Priya focuses on here at all is getting some new clothes, which she very quickly does.
And I'm holding all of her bags.
And probably. Priya is a shopper. Given the option, she will do it. She has,
She's a girl.
well, I mean, she's going to buy 4 or 5 things that can turn into like 10 or 20. And because she's fairly certain most of you are not dressed for the capital, you are going to have a small shopping moment.
Montage!
Let's go to the mall.
All right, Robin.
That's what's my first thought too.
Yeah.
So, for the audience, we're going to basically come up with something that you would think is wearing, you would have your character wear in a relatively mid-level event that has not necessarily high rollers in it, but people that may have some status, and then an event that is like status-driven. You will need 2 outfits.
Outfit.
So, to dress yourself up, you get to go shopping.
Can I borrow a piece of paper, please? This one's filled up already.
Don't worry about mechanical purposes because they are not relevant in your aesthetics.
I don't need armor anyway.
15 AC from my new outfit. Wow.
Yeah, right.
Thank you.
Plus 10 style points, though.
So we're coming up with 2 outfits that we would wear in the capital?
Yeah.
Wonderful. I have no clue. I imagine Priya would be like, hey, you need a change. You're not wearing that. And Andrew's just like, but my ceremonial garb.
Dang.
And then he just reluctantly does.
Well, as a general suggestion, she does offer the idea of for the men, a 3-piece, and for most. That was really quick, Jen.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Just pull up outfit.
That was very quick. All right, then.
So our modern dress wear is what nice clothing constitutes in that world.
Think steampunk.
Yeah, I would go
Fancy.
to a little bit older, like 1800s, 1700s aesthetics more.
You're telling me that
Something like
Adget's gonna
that.
wear a top hat
You could.
and a monocle?
I won't stop you. You know
I
will.
love everything about that.
Could I get what's the equivalent of a zoot suit?
What?
Do you want stripes too?
Oh yes.
Do you want it to be gaudy?
Oh,
Yeah.
so gaudy, it's fucking obnoxious.
What colors do you want?
What would be like the color that constitutes like the most pompous asshole imaginable? Like blue or purple? That's what
Purple.
I'm thinking.
I would avoid purple. I would go more of like a gold looking, like that gold yellow, the 70s one,
Yeah.
where it looks like your clothing's made from a carpet.
Yeah, like I'm thinking gold and like electric blue accents.
There you go. See, that's gaudy. Now, do you want it trim or do you want it to be baggy like old school ones are?
Oh, baggy.
Like you can hold a Tommy gun under it, kind of baggy?
Yeah. Like,
Parachute pants.
like,
What are the things that like the frills like at the wrists and the on the clothes and the neck?
the little fucking white puffy.
Yeah, look,
You're talking about those the puffy
things.
frills like they wore in
What are
like,
they?
Renaissance?
Do you know what they
I forgot what they're called.
They have a name, yeah.
I probably know, but my brain's just like, oh, nah.
Okay, well those are on the outfit.
So you want the puffy pants then? Okay. Puffy pants it is.
yeah, like I want to look so excessive that like you can't take your eyes off me.
Now, is the undershirt also electric blue to make everything stick out?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Tie or no tie?
You're wearing a shirt? That's the most shocking thing about this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not just in fucking trunks. I don't look
I
like a fucking
expected-
WWE
No, I
wrestler
expected
anymore.
the nice jacket, but still shirtless underneath.
I
It's
mean,
actually a pretty good idea.
you don't have to button a shirt.
That's fair enough, yeah.
I mean, it's up to you. Is this the casual one or the more
No, this is the upper, yeah.
upper? Okay.
Yeah, I don't think I need like a fucking Prince outfit or anything.
Well, we know where Lamel's leanings are.
As far as casual wear, what would be deemed casual wear? Just like some in-fashion clothing here.
So, common fashion for what people are going to walk around in the capital, they're based on like the society she would come from.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to dress like business style from like just before Victorian anyway. So men are going to be wearing still suits in most cases.
Is that why you sent me those reference images?
No, not at all.
That sounds so boring.
Not in the slightest.
Nah, of course not.
Um,
Just looking at them again, don't mind me.
but
Oh, God.
common workers would probably wear coveralls, heavy linen, or even possibly shirts. It wouldn't be unusual to see people in boots because like sneakers aren't really a thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be like a loafer style shoe too.
Here's what I'm thinking. Really long brown leather boots, like above my knee boots.
Okay.
Okay, so
Tight.
you want them hooker boots.
Yeah, I want them hooker boots.
Okay.
Tight leather pants
Mhm.
of some unreasonable color, like say green, for instance.
God.
Something entirely unreasonable.
Okay.
And then like just a dress shirt that is made out of a way too thick material, like think cashmere dress shirt.
So is it like cushy? Like the,
Yeah.
Okay.
Then it's texturized too.
Okay. So it's going to be really soft.
Mm-hmm. Really, really fucking soft, but
Okay.
so ungodly hot that like I just unbutton the top entirely.
We're going to refer to Lamel from now on as a pimp.
Also, I want an ascot.
You want an ascot just because?
Yeah.
It's not orange, is it?
It's
Fucking Fred.
I'm making Fred.
With Shaggy's outfit.
Yeah, exactly. Fred's outfit, Shaggy's color scheme.
Fred fucks.
Do the pants go over the boots?
No.
They go in them?
Mhm.
Okay.
They're tights, so I mean,
That
it's
doesn't...
impossible for them to go on the outside.
Not if they bell-bottom mount or something, maybe.
No.
No, we're not wearing
These are
70s
skinny
pants.
jeans.
These are skinny jeans? Oh my gosh.
No, tight leather pants. Yep.
All right. Anybody else got an idea?
Well, I have my 2 outfits set up.
Yeah?
The first outfit, like a black tuxedo suit, bowler hat, and the white frills on the collar and wrists.
Okay.
That's like the high-end outfit. Second outfit, buttoned-up white shirt, black slacks, and like a spotted fur collar.
Spotted fur.
Yeah. Is that all right?
Yeah, I'm not going to stop you.
Just look like a fucking...
Fucking leopard.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that, like a snow leopard. I'm not familiar with modern fashion.
I'm gonna get as close to the Balsan's military.
Okay. So you're going to be wearing white?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you actually going to get a suit that's done that way? Or do you actually want the military outfit?
I'm not gonna do the military outfit, but something similar, because the only last time I dressed up would have been in the military, and that would have been the...
So he's like,
That's his only
military
reference
dress, got
point.
it. Okay. So a white suit, some black trim. Do you do... You have choices, I guess, if you want to add any accents to it. You can do... if you do red, it leans towards the Enclage. If you do blue, it's the other Inquisition.
The Blue
You
Inquisition.
can mix them together and do purple.
The Blue Inquisition.
If you want to lean it towards the officers, the blue is accented with silver.
I'll do the red.
Okay. So like red cuffs, undershirt.
Just doodling out this stupid outfit.
On this fucking lizard folk.
So that's your high end one?
Mm.
Okay. So Richard's going to walk in and parodying the military. Ooh, it's going to be interesting.
I'm gonna be in a similar outfit.
So you're in a long coat unless you want it to be short like a blazer.
The longer the tail, the more you get.
Because normally there'd be long coats, but you can have it be a blazer if you prefer.
Probably a blazer.
Okay.
Mine's gonna be fairly similar, white and silver,
Okay.
and just military soldier-esque, trying to look nice. Not a lot of color to it, strictly like white and silver. The long coat,
Black.
yeah, well, that's just the fucking first image I pulled up. And then the other one I had is basically what he looks like already in his little fucking outfit. So it's like a black with like some red and some yellow on it. And he's got a cape.
Ooh, he's got a cape.
He's got a cape.
Fancy.
And it's held together by a metal chain.
Okay.
And he's got his sword and shield on him at all
Okay.
times, kind of thing.
So he stays armed.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
Lamel stays strapped.
I mean, you're hiding a gun. It's not as hard.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with baggy pants. What
I got one
was
of
your
those,
dress
too.
down? What was your middle range? Or are you just gonna wear the military all the way through?
All the way there.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
He's like, I don't need an outfit change.
he's like, I don't need a gear change. I don't need. Does everybody feel happy about your?
I don't know if happy's the word to describe it.
Let's go.
I am elated.
Gotta go get some tier
This
bitches.
is my quick doodle rendition of the higher end outfit.
I love the hat.
Thank you.
Kind of looks like a Beastars character.
Oh, God.
Kind of does.
I hate it.
I love it.
I love that you did that in what 5 minutes or less.
Oh yeah, like it was like two and a half.
There you go. All right, so past that, there's some provisions that are picked up, and you guys start your travels. Unless you want to stay in the city for any reason.
I'm good.
Priya pays for all the clothes. Don't worry about it.
Yay.
Thanks, Priya. You're the best.
She does it as a favor for Dominus.
Rest in peace.
What?
It'll come out of his pay.
Remember, he shit himself today?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Dominus is going
He's
to
got
pay
dysentery
Altair
right
instead.
Why?
Because me and Dominus are friends.
Oh, okay. That's fine. All right, so you start traveling. You're in your regs, unless you want to be dressy on the road for no reason.
Yeah, let me get this dirty, let me tell you.
Oh, quick question that was kind of important. Linen or wool?
Linen. Oh. Where are we going? Hold up.
Is it winter? Are we cold up in the
Bossman is
capital?
alpine.
It's a little cold.
The main capital is in alpine altitudes. Like we're talking like 15,000 feet.
That's why I got a cape. It doubles as a blanket.
I'm going to go...
Both are heavy materials at the end of the day. Wool is just heavier.
I'm going to go with linen.
Okay. Linen tends to look nicer.
Yeah. That's the only fucking
Depends
way.
on how you treat your wool.
No, there's no way you're going to ever make linen look worse than wool like that.
Cape,
What
blanket.
is that? Oh, it's your shoe.
Mm-hmm.
There's a
Like
reason why
in disguise.
there's a reason why Armani uses linen.
Oh, that's why my shoe feels like it's small.
I'm sure they make woolen ones. I'd probably have to look it up, but like
My
I know they
shoe
make
is
linen,
tight,
and that shit's expensive.
and I can't reach my goddamn foot.
That question's kind of important for all of you though. If it's linen or wool,
The wool one, because I'm cold-blooded, I don't want to die.
want to keep that warmth in as much as you can.
Yeah.
With. Okay.
Whatever the most gaudy.
Linen's gonna be more naughty.
No, the wool will look way worse because it'll just look heavy all the way around. It'll look like he's carrying around furs that have been dyed into a color or something. Okay.
The inner is linen, but the exterior is wool.
Fair enough.
And I have my cape blanket.
As you start traveling, you get about another 4 or 5 days into what's going to be another week and change of travel. Every night you stayed in a small town. You'll make as much time as you can to get there. Most of the time, you can find rooms. You might be bunking up 3 and 4 in a room, but you can do it. This is one of the nights you can't. It's one of the nights you have to rough it. Wagons, of course, form a small general protective circle, with one wagon specifically being in the middle, and it's the one that's loaded down with all the sensitive instruments.
Okay.
The 2 that you can actually sleep in are actually on the outside against the road, and the ones that have just like all the heavy crap in it are pushed up towards the trees that make up the thin-ish woods that you're traveling through in this region.
Redback.
Yep. So you've been going up the entire time. The air's slowly been getting thinner. You're not really noticing it too much because all of you live in this kind of region to some extent. But you can tell it's occurring. Your nights are getting a little bit colder. It's taking longer to warm up. And no matter what happens, settling in every night is a chore. On this night, the snow comes. Light, but it happens. I think we've lost Josh too.
We do, that's fine.
Thought he was just opening the door real
We're
quick.
listening.
It's
I
fine.
know, you guys
I'm
were like,
here.
here. So, the snow starts to come in.
Mm-hmm.
It's not heavy, but it's enough. Enough to make digging out the wagons it's going to be a thing in the morning, and you know it.
Fantastic.
You have a couple of campfires that are set up. One larger one that's a communal one where there's a cook pot and stuff like that all there. Road stew is a thing, courtesy of provisions. So nobody has to hunt unless you really, 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 really want to. It gets to be evening hours. Most people have found their way either into a lot of blankets, into one of the wagons, or done their damnedest to get a cover tent with lots of furs over it.
How much snow is it?
You're probably looking at 2 feet. Which is significant, but not insignificant to deal with. You can prepare the wheels for it. It will be not much of an issue. It's just going to be really slow the next couple of days. On the bright side, it might get warm enough that it starts melting, since it's very thin to start with.
Can we have a dragon with us?
I mean, I know everybody that lives in Florida is going 2 feet of snow is a lot. Everybody that lives up north is like 2 feet. I wish.
Whenever we're like taking a break, I'd be using the feature from the staff to make the campfire.
Okay. So then you probably made the communal flame for the cook stew and everything.
Gotcha.
What are you guys doing this evening? It's your first, well, it's your second one that you're actually out in the wilderness, but it's the first one that you're just really out there.
We haven't like set watches and stuff?
Can if you want to.
How many people we got besides us?
Priya's group consists of about 12, counting Travis, and then there's Dominus. So
us 3.
So it'll be 12 Dominus
13,
and then the
16.
3 of you.
Okay.
All right.
There's a fair amount. A standard creditor isn't going to try and do anything. You're too big of a group and you're going to be noisy and or ridiculous to try to do anything to.
Emphasis on ridiculous.
Yeah, definitely ridiculous.
Yeah. I don't imagine a bear wandering up on, a small wagon train of like 6 or 7 wagons and
Or one level.
15 people.
Unless they had a picnic.
And the bear's name was Yogi.
Yes.
Hey, boo boo. I'm going to take that picnic basket. And now that is on the internet.
Yay!
Lamel doesn't like traveling, so he's just going to stay up all night.
Okay.
And part of it is I'm just going to be doing drills, punching trees.
Okay.
I feel like Adrit would probably take the time, now that we're actually out on the road traveling, to just talk to, like, anyone in the group who's just vibing with him and just...
Anyone who's willing to listen.
Yeah, and just tell them, like, tales of growing up and all that, since, different worlds apart and everything, that'd probably be a little interesting. And then once it gets real late, he's gonna set up a watch and just watch the horizon.
I go ahead and bring out my drum and I start doing a song from back in the war days when we were marching.
Beautiful.
Okay.
It's really funny because he's going to be playing that rhythm on his drum, and every now and then you hear thwack, thwack, just ruining his rhythm. Or I guess that's not ruining, it's just in contrast.
But anyone that's low on health gets extra health, so there's that.
Oh.
Good thing we're not low on health.
Perfect.
What's Travis do?
Whatever the fuck Priya wants me to do.
I mean, it's up to you at this point. She's basically going to stay near the campfire and probably end up listening to that
Yeah, no, I would just hang out by Priya. If she needs me to do something, I do something. Other than that, I'm going to be keeping watch, and that's the extent of my life.
one. You control the other people, though.
I was not aware of this.
You become an army and you
This is-
march on the capital.
This is what happens when you are in charge of the guards.
I was unaware that I was in charge of
You
them.
have at least 6 people, because the other 6 and Priya, we're having a little fun.
I was just kind of set up a general watch for everybody. Like, nothing crazy. We'll just chillax by the fire, stay warm, and, just keep an eye on shit.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically that one. And that one.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
What
Okay.
the fuck did I do to deserve your superstition?
Well, all eyes are on me, so like...
Brother, sister.
Well, see, it's a 6-letter word.
There's
They
no
gonna
rest in
fuck?
there.
It's a 6-letter word. Lamel.
You know what? Fair.
All right.
So let's gather around the campfire and sing our
Sing those
campfire
campfire
songs.
Sing our campfire songs, tell our stories.
Yeah.
About the tribe.
Tell a story.
Oh, okay. So he sets the mood, kind of dims the fire a little bit, and looks at all of them and says,
Silent image as I start to...
nice.
I'll start playing the pan flute for emphasis.
When I was but
Oh,
a young boy. Yes, exactly.
When I was a young lord.
Your
Did
father
your father
took you
take
into
you
the brood mother?
Anyway, sorry. I won't ruin it again. Go ahead.
You're fine.
We'll keep ruining it though.
When my father was still with us, he was teaching me about hunting. unlike my siblings and the others of our clan, I never much liked it. They were much more physically inclined, which is why I became a shaman. But we did end up finding something that we did not think we would find at all. Up in the mountains. A creature similar to us. More intelligent, more ferocious, but this one was injured. It stood on 4 legs and had 2 great wings, the size of sails on a ship.
As Richard tries to imagine what sails on a ship look like, he ends up creating like some northern skiff, snow runner.
But this one, its wing, its right one, had been torn beyond repair. We approached it, its scales a deep red in hue, normally a desperate sign of danger. One would be foolish to approach a red dragon. But my father and I were foolish indeed. We got as close as we could. Of course, the thing at first snapped in ferocity, trying to consume us whole. That killed. But it realized that we were not a threat.
How dare you approach me?
And it talked about how...
I just imagine a dragon doing it.
It talked of how it had been shot from the sky. So, as we sat there with it in the night, it asked of us to help us find its lost brood. Something that sat very close with my father and I, because we had a brood of our own. So we helped it back to health, and eventually it found its nest with our help. And we said our goodbyes. And I think this story is important more than many I've shared because it shows that no matter what or who you are, there is common ground to be found, and perhaps allies and friends, and more. Something I have not said is that later, within that same year, for the first time in a very long time, we had come under attack by marauders. Our tribe was not ill-equipped to deal with this, but conflict is still conflict. We certainly were not expecting the magnitude of this attack. There was a war chief, I suppose you could call him. Ferocious, terrifying. In fact, I think one-on-one he would have bested even our strongest guardians. And that is when that same dragon came to our aid. We did not suffer a single casualty that day. So, if there's anything you should take away from this tale, seek first to understand before you jump into violence. Sanitas says as much.
Here, and like 6 of them all take a drink of beer.
Yeah.
I'm curious that you haven't found dragons. They're myths in most of our tales.
That is why I was surprised as well. We did not think we would find one there, and yet we did, but to be entirely fair, it was not supposed to be there. It had been shot from the sky, after all.
Carrie said it was injured.
They are not immortal, as legendary as they are.
As a mere mortal man myself, they're more immortal than I am.
As for me as well. It could have killed me if it wanted to. It did not.
Did you guys see that dragon about a week and a half ago?
The dragon I described pales in comparison to that.
No, that one had like 6 wings and he
Very much
I'm
larger.
not sure I would call that thing a dragon, but I suppose if that's what we're going to think.
Wait, what happened?
It's probably easier to tell people it's a dragon for them to know what it really is.
I don't even want to know what it really is.
Well, for all intents and purposes, big, scaly wings.
Alaskan bullworm.
What he said.
I've heard bullworms, but Alaskan bullworms?
What is in Alaska?
Alaska. What's in Alaska?
Oh, that's bad.
Richard, you didn't... How did you not...
I was unconscious, apparently for longer than I thought I was.
That is my fault.
Some of the guys in the group can do magic, yes?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Minor illusion. Didn't see that?
Of this thing
He was-
clawing its way out
He
like,
was hard to miss.
like an alien out of an egg.
I swear to God, I thought I was going crazy that there was a mountain gun.
Nope.
No, that actually happens.
In
That's
quite
why the
spectacular
city
fashion.
is in.
It was
Shambles.
very terrifying.
Yeah, I don't know how you missed that.
I was playing claptrap somehow. With your friend.
My friend.
Spoke very highly of you.
We're talking about the same person. Aquila, right? She spoke highly of me?
No.
That's what I thought. That makes more sense, Richard. We're like oil and water, me and her.
Consistently finding yourselves together, but never capable of being together?
Actually, yeah, that's a pretty good way to describe it. I run into her far more often than I really should.
It sounds like a bad habit of yours.
Yeah, I've got a pretty good habit of finding the wrong girl.
It reminds me of a human phrase. Star-crossed lovers. Yes?
Yes,
Are
that's
you,
exactly what it is.
Are you in love with this Aquila?
Definitely so.
Awful choice.
You've made poor decisions.
I'll drink to that.
I will not. I am very bad with alcohol.
Hey, Adrian, I
Yes.
think you just spoke into existence. They're going to kill each other.
Is that what that phrase means?
No, but it's how it ends.
Not if I kill her first. I really do not like her.
Get in line.
I have also been taught this expression.
A few of the guys are a little drunk by now.
You are a horrible influence upon him.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm a great influence on so many people.
Right, that's been my experience.
He has saved lives.
Sure he has.
I have seen it.
Choosing not to kill them doesn't mean he's saving them.
That's my
That's-
thoughts.
That's not entirely the truth. I mean, certainly I have spared those who deserve death. But, no, Adric speaks the truth.
It is okay, Lamel. I will always believe in you.
Well, I was just going to go ahead and
They will not.
vindicate myself.
No,
but
they will not believe.
Kiss already.
No.
then how about Adric tell the tale of me pulling people from a crumbling building?
Once upon a time, Lamel pulled people from a crumbling building.
Wasn't this just last week?
Yes.
Yeah, I saved people last week
He had no reason
during
to
a
kill them
crisis.
either.
What other time am I going to save people?
Probably
That
when
actually
you're
does
drunk.
not help your point.
No,
That
no.
makes you...
Do I need to
Crisis seems
pull
like
from
the
a
only relevant
even
time to
older
save
example?
people.
If I remember the story right, pretty sure when they're drunk, I'll save them. Does not help your case.
A few of the guys are heading off to bed.
Rest well.
As the moons come up. Those
2 months.
moons.
Those Menanos.
I have watches set up so there's at least 2 people up at all times.
Okay. So, curious fact about the moons, just because I want to bring it up and I can.
Cool.
One of them is pretty what you expect, not as big as ours, but is nice white marble that occasionally looks yellowish and some other colors in the
Like
horizon,
cheese.
depending on time of year and
Swiss cheese.
light and everything else. But generally, it's just a white marble.
Alright.
The second moon looks like it's a cracked egg. It was once round and splintered, and pieces of it just kind of float around with it.
So we got a whole breakfast. Cheese and eggs.
This one is quite a bit larger, or would be if it was whole. It tends to lag time-wise 11 minutes behind the regular moon, give or take.
Okay.
It changes ever so slightly from day to day throughout the month, but generally speaking, it's slower. It just gets more slow and then eventually seemingly speeds up.
You were thinking
Big-
that too?
Yeah.
That's not too far from the idea. That moon, though, unlike the other one, which does go through full phases, where it will wax wane and everything else. The other one really doesn't. And we would refer to it as tidally locked, where it's like permanently facing one direction at all times.
He's broken.
But even more so, it's always just high enough. And when it circles, it's not necessarily doing this. It kind of does this above you. So it's always in the sky. You just don't see it.
Different rotation.
Yeah, you just don't really see it during the day as much because there's a much brighter thing in the sky.
That's cool.
But you can see it partially throughout the day as well, and at different times at night. But it never fully casts as much shadows. And it never fully goes away.
Alrighty.
It also leans heavily in the north in your sky.
The north.
Which means you're probably in the southern hemisphere. You would never see it. Just worth putting that out
Oh,
there.
I like it. It's good.
The other one moves like you would expect. It's not dramatically different. I don't recommend planning your vacation on it, but you can navigate if you had to.
Cool moon.
Boring moon.
Regular moon, piccolo moon.
Cheese moon. Egg moon.
As the one that does go through the sky gets pretty low in it, it gets pretty late. You'll find yourself sleeping.
Most of us. I said all but
No.
two.
Like I said, I'd be doing a walk and then heading to sleep.
I sleep during the day on travel nights.
Okay. So throughout the night, nothing seemingly matters too much, but you've been up for a while. And it's not that you haven't heard stories of things like this or even experienced it. About an hour before sunrise, when you're far enough from civilization, it's not really ever going to work if there's a lot of people around for whatever reason. Superstition has a lot to do with this, to different ideas why it happens. But some refer to it as the March of the Dead. Some refer to it as the tolling hour. Some will occasionally reference it as a form of witching hour. Instead of it being midnight, it's an hour before dawn. Sorry, my stomach. Hi. It said hi. Spirits will manifest of various things. They don't really take a definitive shape. They never really look like a person or animal or even a specific thing. But there's usually almost like fireflies, but just very large blinking lights that will show up and move in a pattern. And they're always in the horizon. They're never, you can't ever get close enough to them to feel like you're among them.
Alright.
Like you could with a field of fireflies. You eventually just be like, oh, they're all around me. That never seems to happen. But an hour before dawn, this happens and you have this experience. What's it like for Lamel when this happens?
Lamel would be deeply concentrated on his martial arts right now.
Mhm.
So, if anything, they'd be more like a minor distraction, lights off in the distance that seemed to draw his attention away, but never fully breaking his focus.
Okay.
Would you
It's
say
kind of like background music.
Would you say Adrit was having his watch at this time? 'Cause this could be a cool interaction.
You could if you want to.
All right.
It's up to you when you decided to.
Something does break your focus. Adrit actually walks up to you, gives you a tap on the shoulder, and points at them, the lights. Do you see that?
Yeah.
And as beautiful, is it not?
I mean, yeah, I guess they're pretty.
It's not just how they look, but what they are.
Spirits, right?
Yes, but they mean more than that. They are the world around us, as much as the trees and the dirt, the sky, the sun, and the moons, and so on and so forth. You should take a moment and just watch.
I guess so.
That is the spirit. I saved you this. He pulls out a water skin full of some kind of nondescript alcohol.
It's off-brand.
Thanks, Adrit. Not sure if it's the appropriate time of day, but hey, what the hell.
It is always the appropriate time for you, I was led to believe.
Maybe you do have the wrong impression.
As the man who went to save the barrel of alcohol during that calamity, I feel like my impression is rather accurate.
Well, no, I didn't end up saving that barrel of alcohol.
You tried.
Yeah. And I also saved several people.
You did.
And rode off towards a dragon clawing out of a mountain.
Yes.
So, well...
The point is you like alcohol.
I do.
I will not hold that against you.
It seems you actively encourage it, Adric.
It is something that makes you special.
Something you are better than at him.
That as well.
I would, I didn't think I was going to bring it up, but you've been thoughtful of me, so I'll be thoughtful of you. I would just be careful with your interactions and when we're in the capital. When we're out in the wilderness or in a boony town like the one we were in, talking to the dead might be something you could get away with, but generally people find that intolerable in this part of the world.
I had figured as much. I know it is not as taboo in my own culture, but here there are certain things that many people find taboo that my people do not. That is why I do not do it in public spaces.
I just wanted to look out for you.
I do
sure
appreciate it.
We're all on the same page.
Yes. Of course, I do not have any specific plans to talk to any dead person.
Neither do I.
So, what do you think about, times like these?
I kind of think of them as the lull. There's times when action is needed and times when action is frowned upon. I think the times when action is frowned upon, such as these, are the bane of my existence. I get so unbelievably bored, I'd rather sleep the day away and just fuck around when no one else seems to care.
So that is why you spend so much of your time alone, then?
When we're traveling, yeah, I just find it so unbelievably boring.
Well, you are
I'd
a
rather
man
be
of
doing
action.
something.
Yes. You like fighting and drinking and mingling, yes?
Yeah. I like doing things. It doesn't matter what it is, I just need to be doing something.
I think you should try and pick up some kind of small craft, then.
Oh. And Lamel ruffles around his bag and pulls out his cartography kit. I draw maps. This is part of what I do at night when we're traveling.
Ooh,
I just document where we've been.
that looks very well made.
Thank you.
How long have you been doing this for?
Maybe 20 years.
Hmm.
Really, ever since I got kicked out of the main house.
Why did you get kicked out, if you do not mind me asking?
It's a long story, but to sum it up into 3 bullet points, I would say, firstly, expectations are a bitch.
True.
You can't trust family. And the only family that matters is the family you choose.
I suppose that actually is an informed perspective on things.
I never really had a close family growing up, and you could say that affected me a little bit.
No, I agree with you. I do think that the ones you choose to spend time with the most are more family than blood. In that regard, I was lucky. I got to spend time with blood that I did enjoy. But I apologize that you did not.
Well, it is what it is. It's made me a better person. I view people for more than what their last name is around here, and I think that's more meaningful than a lot of the things people like to fucking blow up our ass.
I would say that is admirable. With this, Andrew gives you a punch on the shoulder, and he points out towards the spirits one more time and says, I won't keep you any longer. I have to get some rest as well. But keep an eye on those for every once in a while. They're more like us than you'd think. And then he walks off.
Adric with his cryptic messages.
I take a swig from the indescript alcohol bag.
Okay.
It tastes all right.
It's not warm because of the temperature, but it's
It's got
like
some heat to it.
it's like the warm.
I like that. It was nice.
So next morning, everybody wakes up and goes about putting the wagon train back together.
Wagon train.
You travel for a few more days to another small town that is definitely a feeder from the capital at this point. You're starting to see evidence of capital life. Examples of this would include, well, small bits of tech, of magic tech that's filtered out. For example, the Watcher Bike things were something that Palmaris had access to, and there weren't a lot of them because they couldn't build them very easily.
Yeah.
This town has 2, which, you know, we've not seen any other towns that do. Radius did, but that's because it's a major city. And other things that are kind of different are a few of the wagons that are here are steel clad and don't really have wheels so much as they work a lot like Alden's platform.
Hoverboard.
They float about 8 to 10 inches off the ground, repelled by various device. They're still pulled by horses, but you can tell the amount of strain on the horse is way less.
Right.
There's even some general evidence in the way people walk around, like some of the things they have access to. There's lights in the city, for instance. There's actually some evidence of electricity in the city beyond just, Palmaris has a lot because it was a big city. You were in a major city. The towns usually are just like, people go around, large stick, they light gigantic candles that are in the streets, or maybe somebody feeds natural gas into the piping and that burns. And you can tell when you're walking past that. The natural gas is a form of the technology because it's expensive, hard to put in, and takes a lot of effort to maintain. And this town has it. It actually has small heater vents in the major streets that you can stop and get warm at. There are actually little benches and stuff like that where you can kind of wait. And there is a mass transit of sort in the fact that there is a guild that goes around and picks people up in half wagons. These half wagons are very unique in that they essentially, you know what, the old style carriage you get in, right? And it's just a bench seat. People would sit there and it's all nice and fancy looking, right? These are sitting sideways and it can fit like 15 people on this thing. And they're basically getting in the equivalent of a bus. And it's getting pulled by 2 horses, but again, the whole thing hovers. Otherwise, there's not a lot of other major evidences, but the fact that natural gas is present suggests that, well, the restaurants, for instance, they can make food much faster. For instance, not everything is done in an oven.
The world's first drive-thru.
Yay!
Yeah, that doesn't happen yet. But you can get things that are like pan-fried, for instance. So there may be some foods that you've never really had in any other way. Palmaris may have had access to it, or at least the regional version. But getting a roast isn't an unusual thing. Getting a seared steak is very unusual, and you can get one here, for instance. And it would come with something like, maybe maple glazed carrots that have actually been sauteed in a gas pan.
Delicious.
Sold.
Right? It's just little things that are different, not crazy. The food is richer. There's a lot more
Food is Richard?
richer. I didn't add the ard.
I mean, your clan.
Sugar is more prevalent, so baked goods are more common. You would find these in major cities, but not in towns.
Muffins everywhere.
Yeah.
There's a muffin cart in the daytime.
Muffins.
Stuff like that. Things that are just a little bit different. What you don't find, though, that you would find in Palmaris, there's not flower vendors of any kind.
No flowers?
No.
They don't really survive well out here. You won't find as much color to this town either, because there's less textiles unless they're brought up from Radis, that there's no reason to. So large banners and stuff like that are advertising a business or advertising a guild or the Watchers themselves. It's just painted boards more than anything.
Correct me if I'm wrong. We are within a day of the capital now, yes?
Yeah, about a day's travel.
I'm going to... So I have it where... We have 3 wagons?
You have 6.
I have 6 wagons.
Mhm.
So I have people like 1, 2, 3, 4 like walking with the wagons, and the other people are
Could
in
ride.
the wagons, and then we trade off every hour.
Sure.
I'm going to make it a point on one of my turns to run away momentarily. Actually, I'm gonna have one of the guys do it, but they're gonna go grab a variety of muffins to bring to the capital.
Okay. Earthenworks are getting more common. When you were in the south reaches, you'd find more woodwork materials than you will earthen. The further north you get, the less wood is going to be used as a small good. It'll be used for large productions, such as buildings and stuff. It's easier to keep a log cabin warm, but there's no reason to have, a wooden bench if they can make one ceramic and run pipes through it and make it warm. So there's reasons to not do certain things out of wood, which isn't going to do a great job of keeping your ass nice and warm, for instance.
Nice and
And I'd also imagine that, they are able to warm things through, like you said, through gas, but that doesn't mean, like, using wood as fuel is completely obsolete.
No, not at all.
So they
Especially
probably,
the poor are going to be using wood because they
Yeah.
don't have access to it.
So they probably use that a lot more for that as well.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You will find more stonework, earthenwork, and stuff like that homes. There'll be less of the timber present, except in somebody that's got money or somebody that's trying to make a statement. That's usually the only times you're going to find a lot of it. Or if they built beyond the second story, then it's pretty much all wood because it's hard to make stone to go to a third floor. Maybe if that concrete gets up from radius, they can do it. But until then, no. One of the other things that kind of throws you a bit is in the evening how lit up this town is. In Palmaris, in the major shopping areas, stuff like that, some electricity, it throws people because the light is very specific. It doesn't feel like just a fire sitting somewhere. This place, it feels like there's fires freaking everywhere. Everybody's got a campfire in every street. Everywhere there's something. In some of the areas where the poor are at, there's actual fires. Where the houses, the way they're built and everything else, there'll be a central street, and they might actually light fires in the side street to communally cook and things like that. Or even people that don't have much in the way of homes will gather around it and then be brought inside and stuff like that. Because of this, there's also a large hide and hunting culture. So people going hunting deer, hunting down bears, stuff like that. There'll be more furs that are obvious. Other than that, not too much has changed from day-to-day life. And dress is starting to get fancier. At least if they have money. But it looks dirty compared to what you're expecting from the capital. Because of all this natural gas means there's smoke.
Yay!
So, issues there. But you only experience it for a day at most, unless I'm assuming you're not sticking around more than a few hours.
No.
You stay overnight, and that's about it. The inn, as it were, is toasty. It has a hearth. That hearth is got wood logs in there, but it's gas started. And it's expensive. You're sure of it because it's about 10 gold per room per night.
Oof.
Wow.
That must stay nice and toasty.
But you're staying at a nice, crisp 65 degrees.
Nice and toasty.
65 degrees.
Yeah, toastier
No.
than it is outside.
Don't get me wrong.
It's 5 outside.
If it's really cold outside, it's 65,
Yeah.
but it's really good.
No, I'm like,
It's like 5
fucking
outside.
2 degrees outside. I am happy at the 65.
You can't go anywhere now that there's not some snow on the ground. Whether it's dirty or not depends. The nice thing about the heating all through the city, there's lots of places it's melted.
Yay! Free
Yeah.
water.
Well, that goes into the sewer collection system and into their cisterns and stuff like that.
Free water.
Spill free water. I'm going to the sewer. I'm just kidding.
Well, that's actually how they get their water from the snow melt is they
Yeah.
pull it through cistern.
But they do it legally.
I mean, there's not a law against collecting snow here, so
Is there a law against crawling into the sewer, though?
So you said 10,
I would just say it's distasteful.
One way to
10 gold.
find out.
10 gold per night per person, right?
Per room. It's not per person, per room.
How many per room?
If you want to sleep nicely, 2. If you want to cram in there, 6. The rooms are big enough, you could cram 6 in there, it'd still feel comfortable. There's just not enough bed space for it.
I've been told I'm a good cuddler.
So for us 4, I'll grab our room.
All right.
Just keep Priya from doing it?
Yeah.
Okay. She don't care. She won't stop you. There's only one person that stays in her room anyway. Travis.
I keep going for Francis. His name is Travis.
Travis.
It's close enough.
No, it's
Fucking
not.
Ajax.
Bring that shit back. The next morning, there's plenty of muffin.
Yay.
And some bread if you want it. Just cause.
Yeah, we'll take some muffins, some bread, and
And off you go.
Richard, have you been up here before?
once or twice.
I recall you saying that you've traveled. This is like up north, right?
Yeah, you're going north.
I recall that you've said you've traveled up north before.
Mhm.
So you are used to this kind of thing?
I traveled a lot of places in the military.
What was your favorite thing about the north?
The atmosphere.
That is a good answer. I think we should stay at one of these places once we are done with this capital journey.
100%.
What was the name of the episode again?
Mm-hmm. That would be a capital idea, capital.
Capital idea.
Alrighty, so we're going to take a brief break, and when we get back, capital.
Idea.
Capital.
Idea.
Can't help it, can we?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. We'll catch you then.
And we're live.
Go ahead.
Hello.
Okay.
Continue.
I just want to know if we're live or not.
And we're back. So, yeah, it's an interesting question, isn't it?
Trying to find out, like everybody else.
Just, you never know.
That poor
I know
person.
the answer.
I know the answer now, too.
When
Or
you
do
don't,
you think you know the answer?
when you don't want the answer.
But are you smarter than a 5th grader?
No.
No.
No one is.
No.
That's why the news is at the level it's at. Oh, wait, that's 8th grade. Dang it. Anyway. All right, so welcome back to episode 12. You guys are all approaching the capital. Some of you not for the first time. Some of you probably entirely for the first time.
Yeah.
A few miles away from the capital, it's really obvious that you're there. Because there's a mountain range that backdrops the entire city in a lazy crest. But the road actually opens as it comes in. The forest has been cut down enough. Over time, it's been trained not to grow, so the view is more impressive than it might be under most circumstances. Somebody in the process of city planning wanted you to know where you were going. They didn't want city signs. They didn't want something to clutter up their roads. The road, though, on the other hand, gets wide at this point, and you're still only a few miles out. You can run almost 3 wagons wide and no issues. The well-traveled road is got that hard plates that have been put in with packed sand. They've been here forever, a long, long time. The roads themselves are indicative of the ancientness that Balsan represents, or at least it tries to represent. First and foremost in your horizon is a central keep, but unlike a medieval castle or some strange defensive fortress, this place isn't built for fending off an army. It's built to impress. has 8 spires that launch themselves up like the peaks of the mountains themselves, spread wide over an unknown amount of distance. But from your field of vision, if you were to imagine this large crest that is the mountains, the spires dot themselves randomly up through the tree line. And you can see the keep itself. For a long time, it has withstood all manner of elements this entire region can throw at it. Built from cut slabs of granite, entire place. I don't even want to know what you're doing.
Nish Western. That's what I'm picturing. The Nish Western castle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. The slabs of granite carry all their natural hues, which carry themselves into the castle itself. The castle was more of a representative. The royal family technically lives within it, but so does so many others. You're aware that the paladins themselves each reside in one of the spires. They have for a very long time. Granted, there are 5 paladins, and there are 8 spires. So you wonder what the other 3 are for when the royal family... Sorry, the
4.
other 4. No, 3. 8 spires, 5.
5 plus 3
Yeah.
is 8.
We're missing one at the moment, though.
Oh. I'm like, what are you talking about?
One's just collecting dust.
It's still marked for him. There are 3 spires that you would probably wonder who lives in them when the royal family has no claim on them. One of those spires is an ancient one that has been forbidden from all access. The paladins reinforce it with all manner of law and magics. For it is the place where the witches of Anras used to reside.
Wow.
It is the only spire that is flat at the top and has a bridgeway that goes into the central mountain that is behind the keep. Past that, there are 2 that are sistered on either side of that central one. Each of these belong to the 2 original binding clans. One to Tyr, one to Calum. The reason these 2 clans are considered the binding clans is they were the 2 original oppositions in the Great Clan War. And at the end, they were the largest of the 2. As such, they are consistently centered as opposites within the government of the kingdom. But that does not necessarily mean the individuals within the families are. It's more representative at this point. But tradition is tradition, and within the royal courts and ministries, there's still enough political infighting to say that that's not ancient history. But nonetheless, you get a little bit closer to the capital, and the hills, if you will, they're not really hills so much as low mountains that have been shaped and shaven and manipulated largely through magic, a little bit through violence. Depends on when you want to talk about. Are a series of quarters the city is built into. There are 4 proper quarters, divisions of the keep, that house 4 major clans. Tyr, Aestral, Calum, and TOGG. The last one does not contain a natural quarter of its own, though it could, and it was not an original signer on the binding agreements from the ceasefires that happened during the clan war. It became more of a later signator, which Lepus does now have a region or district that is below this, but it's centered with the ministries themselves, and the ministry, each one centering themselves as they come down the hill. Right, you'd have the keep up here. You'd have the quarters that kind of give it a ring of sorts. Though they are not divisioned in a giant circle, they are actually like spokes coming out, or flower petals, I guess would be more appropriate. And then each one on their own mountain that's been shaved flat. All these are decorated with large stairwells that lead up to them that you could walk an army up each of them, to be honest. Generally speaking, nobody really travels that too much anymore except for ceremony purposes. Now there's underground passages that go up into the quarters, and there's lots of checks to let you in. And you have to have the money to live in those regions and the family status to have an old clan house, which very few even have that kind of leverage to start with. Each of the clan quarters probably consists of maybe 100 houses at best. In some cases, there'll be a little bit less, depending. Originally, they marked the 100 commanders from each of the clans. And that was what was given to them, if you will. And that was how the clans founded themselves. But, again, Lepus doesn't possess one there. There's the next ring that's down. You have 6 of these petals. One of them is actually Lepus's section. The other 5 are the different ministry heads, which contain their own buildings that have been built. These look very out of place compared to the scenery that is the traditional ancient one. This is because they are built very much closer to a modern city. In fact, each of the ministries themselves kind of like built how the academies are built. You'll have large wings. You'll have, that was a weird sound. You'll have sections that spire up 10, 15 stories up and house all manner of people in offices and things like that that are performing official functions for the government. The military is the only one that doesn't build up. Big surprise there, right? It's bad defense. Instead, it makes up this very strange 20-sided structure. 2 points of this structure lead out of the actual main complex. It is not one building, but instead 20, each facet being its own building. There is not a central courtyard, but there is a courtyard between each of the building structures as they form a ring around its entire perimeter. In the central yard, on the other hand, is a singular statue to Gobor. It has never gone away. It has been there forever. It is about 50 feet tall. It is cast bronze. Some say that the thing has been magicked a long time ago, so it hasn't eroded away. But it's been there since the Clan Wars, so... The old Ministry of War used to be the head section where Clan Tyr ruled from. That is their ancestral home. Those 20 buildings actually represent the original 20 heads of the clan. Not that they really matter today, but it is symbolic. The other ministries, on the other hand, have long since given up on that kind of tradition and instead have modernized. Each of their structures, like I said, they look much more modern than to today. Squarish buildings in some cases, almost to the point of modern absurdity. They look like a New York skyline in the 1800s, if you were to think about it. It just, they're square buildings.
Square building.
Square.
I don't know, humans have a tendency to build cubes and rectangles for all of their homes.
That's unacceptable.
No.
Instead
Triangle
of ovals.
is the best.
Right.
It's the strongest square. It's the triangle. Is the strongest square.
No, that's
Triangle is the
it's an
strongest
accurate
shape.
sentence.
I'm going to just leave it alone. Yep, nope. You could build a bunch of
Square.
pyramids. You could. Maybe somewhere someone did. They did not hear. The ministry buildings are swathing buildings, though, when they're built. They have huge columns, and just like the Prima Bellator, which is very minor in comparison, the ostentatious nature of putting large inscriptions and important figures all around these buildings and giant relief carvings into the buildings is tradition. So you'll find some ancient person that was relevant at some point in some day who might be holding a gavel and a scale outside of the Ministry of Law because they were important once. Does everybody remember their names? No. Do the schools bother teaching them? Also no. They may have once, but there's too many people and not worth the effort to memorize a judge from 400 years ago just cause.
There's too many important people.
I'm sure an academy remembers everybody. When you get below that, you start to see the sprawl that is Balsan. It is a massive city. The core of it being almost 10 square miles.
So is the city itself also called Balsam?
Mm-hmm.
And the kingdom is Balsam?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just want to make sure.
Yeah, it's gotta
It's not
go.
confusing at all.
Yeah, it's like New York, New York.
No, it makes sense. I just want to make sure.
Yeah, the capital is called Balsan, and so is the kingdom, which is also the ancestral home of Clan Tyr.
Yeah. All right, thank you.
They named it. Blame them.
Keep it stupid simple.
Yeah.
The only unique feature that is not as visible in the skyline is the lake that's in the middle of the city. The lake is an old reservoir. It's long since been protected. In the dead center of it is an island. What used to be on that island
Was the tree, right?
was a very large tree.
Yep.
It was a sacred tree to the kingdom, to all magical practices, and deeply rooted in tradition of the clans.
And now it bye-bye.
Because the waters directly around this tree were forever crimson and viscous like oil. And it was thought to be the blood of all the fallen who ever served in the kingdom fed to this tree. The truth was long taught to anybody that bothered throwing magic for even 10 seconds in a formal setting, and that it is one of the founts of the main ley lines of the entire kingdom. There is non-stop spiritual energy pumping into that tree. Well, did. Now pumps into the small pool that the tree was in. With the tree's absence, there's going to be a lot of questions, but for now, you're not privy to them. So, such is the way it goes. Outside of that island, which people were not allowed on punishment of straight death, you would be killed when you got back to shore, without question.
That answers that question.
It was guarded by a very select group of people that serve the Ministry of Darkness. They've served in the military for an incredibly long amount of time. They were brought into Ministry of Darkness as specialists. And like the Queen's Guards, which served the royal family, they were elites of the elite. Armed to the teeth, well and ready for any fight. And they live on that island. They still live there now. It's questionable. Don't know if they pulled them off or not. You'll find out. Outside of that island is all manner of buildings. The upper quarters around it being some of the most expensive because, the view. Everybody wants to see the blood tree, right? Why not? Used to be almost 100 feet tall. You could see it anywhere. Which is why it's really obvious it's not in the skyline.
Well, it was in the skyline.
It also obscured the stairs that led up to the ministries.
100 feet tall doesn't seem that big for a big old tree that was swooped away by a mountain dragon.
That's why it was a joke
Yeah.
for the dragon to pick it up and walk away.
It was a stick.
So he just got a toothpick and said,
It's like a dog playing
mine."
fetch.
He took a stick.
Okay.
I wrote that in my notes. Dragon took it as a stick.
The upper quarters, it's really just high life. There's commercial, residential, and everything else up there.
Question. Is the city on high alert then if the dragon came up and...
That's what you're going to see as you come in.
Okay.
And this is just you miles out, what you can see as it's slowly being revealed.
Okay.
And each of these are mountains that were probably all part of that range that have been leveled over time to create this stepping effect. So each of them is basically a mountain that's been shaped to fit and accommodate the life that lives on it now. So all the stonework is probably used to build the city that is sitting on top of the mountains.
Okay.
It's kind of like Mexico, where they build off the plateaus.
Wait, guys, do we have our passports?
The lowest reaches of the city are actually in foothills, and they're built in rolling foothills that would have been the mountain range. They vary all over the place in scale, size, expense, and everything else. There are farms on the outer side of it. Most of it does not grow crops. It maintains animals because crops don't grow for crap here. There are some greenhouses that have been made that utilize some of the stuff, like the soil that would have been used in the south, some of the technology that you have access to, and definitely plenty of magic to make sure that food is grown and can feed this massive city. The population of Balsan is staggering at 500,000.
Mhm.
If you were to compare it to Palmaris, which is barely 100,000, it's a metropolis compared to just a general city. This many people living this close together produce a lot of crap, one way or another. And as it turns out, It's all stored underground
Oh.
or composted out and magicked away. There is a mass transit system that is set up very much like in the one city you're already in with Raiders as that underground system that was pioneered here. There's another system just like it, but it's a vast network of like 50 odd different lanes that go up varying heights, and you need permissions to go to certain ones and things like that. Everybody carries an ID, no matter who you are. You're given one when you come into the city if you don't already have one, but if not, you'll be processed. You will be given appropriate papers and approvals. You will be verified who your families are, things like that. As you're approaching the city, you're now within half a mile of it, is where the traffic jam starts.
Yay.
Because, a clan meeting was called, and not everybody lives in the city. In fact, most of the family doesn't live in the city. Because, vast kingdom, why would they? The traffic jam is a combination of modern merchants going in and out, common farmers trying to get their goods to market, all the BS that normally goes in and out of the 6 central gates, and all the auxiliary ones, including the people gates, which there's probably about 40 of those. And the walls aren't really very defensive. They're about 20 foot tall, and they're very ceremonial. And the gates actually are breaches in the walls. At least the merchant ones are. They're just giant iron doors that they move out of the way. As you approach the traffic jam that is this entire setting, Priya suggests very quickly that we condense down to one wagon that will go in ahead and clear for the others, and the others will come in once the merchant jam has basically piled out.
Okay, sounds good.
Okie dokie.
Figured. So you've traveled almost 40 miles in this day, but of course it would be a little bit less. What do you guys do about approaching this city? What's your thoughts? Where's your heads at?
Same thing I see all the time. So nothing different.
Oh, home's a bitch.
Just looking at it like, wow, big walls.
Big walls.
Wow.
I do have a question for Jen, not for Travis.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody gets IDs, children and stuff included, or is it only adults?
Everyone.
Okay.
Parents usually carry the IDs for children,
Yeah.
but not always. Depends on the age of the child and competency, trust.
Mm-hmm.
Normal child.
I didn't know if it was like when you hit adulthood is when they gave a shit, or if it was everyone.
No, if you're a citizen, you have an ID.
That's it.
So when you guys finally get to the gate, series of guards that are bored out of their skulls. You can tell it's written all over their face. They're doing their job. They've been hassled for hours. They are in dress whites and really wish they weren't.
The ones at the door with us are getting a muffin.
You're getting a muffin? They'll probably appreciate that.
Well
You get a
aware.
muffin. You get a muffin.
Fred gets a muffin. He's had a long day.
God.
They ask 3 questions of everybody. Purpose and nature of your visit. Family or relative in which you were seeing that resides here. Proof of your identity. Everybody in some form except you, obviously, carries some natural identity of some kind if you're a citizen. It's basically kind of like a birth certificate rolled into an ID, rolled into a lot of crap. It's not very big. It's about a big. It's got a seal on it. You probably don't have copies. You probably don't even carry the original. That's fine. They have ledgers. I can figure it out. Unless you do carry it, in which case, that's up to you. But each year you're going to get asked these 3 things.
I feel like Richard would
What about?
carry the original.
Yeah.
Who wants to go first? So, nature of the visit.
Welcome back. I'm here to continue doing my job. Priya is that one, and here's my ID, and here's the ID of all 12 of my men. See you tomorrow. Have a muffin.
Starts going through it.
Same thing as always, Fred. I don't know why you keep asking me.
Roll a
Every day of
just
my
for
life.
fun. Roll a die. I don't care. Pick a die.
That's a 2.
It's a 2. Okay. Let's say you actually know Fred. Let's say you know one of the guards. Why not? It makes sense. Travis has gone through here plenty of times.
I work here.
They start processing processing all of your people. Priya gets processed slightly independent just because of her status.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as her status is revealed, they remove her from the line and bring her into the building.
And
Seems normal, and then you're going to follow.
Yeah, I was like, I insist that I attend.
They'll probably just take you with. That'll be fine. They don't inspect her in any way. They don't physically touch her.
No, that would be stupid.
They do ask if there's
die.
any weapons and stuff like that you wish to claim. They ask if there's anything that they should need to know or anything like that. And she just boringly rattles it all off.
Mm-hmm.
As she's rattling it off, you realize the security has like been ramped up. But
There's a big capital meeting.
there's that. But then there's this undertone while they're asking her questions, specifically her. They didn't ask you anything like this. They'll also ask her, so you're here for the vote. Are you planning to exercise your rights as a citizen or as a clan member? She sits there for a second, a little puzzled. I'm both, but I vote as a clan. Why would I vote as a citizen? It's fine. It just takes the answer. It doesn't explain himself. And I process her and let it go. You guys are processed with not much of an issue. Your other people are going to have to wait till they can get through the wagons, but
That's
they'll be
not my
fine.
problem.
No, they know where to go. They know what to do.
They know what they're doing.
We're going to say Dominus is with them.
Hi.
Isn't their first rodeo?
No.
And it's probably not his either. Who's next?
Hi, Lamel Tier. I'm here for a summon.
Related to me.
You hand them the two,
Yeah,
or the scroll.
the scroll.
They immediately take you aside. And I bring you inside. Away from both of you. Claiming any weapons?
Pulls out gun. Pulls out trident.
How the fuck do you pull out a trident?
He just
We've already established it collapses.
Yeah.
Oh,
We established it collapses.
it's a fork in his pocket when he takes it out.
it's the pants of holding.
It's the pants of holding.
The pants of holding.
Is that a trident in your pants? You're just happy to see me.
Yes.
Actually, it smells.
Are you based on this? You were here for the vote. Are you voting as citizen or clan?
Clan.
Family you're visiting?
Not sure if I'll be visiting him. Haven't decided yet.
Intended residency?
Anywhere.
You do know that most of the inns have been booked for, at this point, weeks.
I'll just buy a house. It's fine. I'm sure the housing market's great with the dragon attack and all.
Speaking of, any declared magic?
Magic? No. I'm above that.
Do a history check for me real quick. No, do a history check for me real quick. I just want to see if he pays attention to the guy.
8.
No, okay. That's fine. The guy gets
Wait,
gives you
you're
this look,
done.
like for a moment, he just deadpan looks at you. Right.
Looks at the gun, looks at him. Okay.
Identification.
I seem to have left it in my other trousers.
Just a piece of paper. He writes the word Lamel Tier, hands it down.
I do what I want.
So Plantier
Yep.
pulls out the summons, looks at it, opens pulls one of the ledgers out that actually is the formal clan one. And you can see it has a list of like all the family trees.
Tell him it's the last page. They ripped it out, taped it back in a couple times.
They take the summons, which doesn't have any identifiers because yours is like the most nondescript one.
Mm-hmm.
Parents?
See, that's complicated. Let's see here. Ragnar. We'll see if that one works.
Ragnar, go ahead.
Try this card. If that one doesn't work, let me know. I got another one.
It says Ragnar has 2 children. One is deceased. No, Lamel is not the other.
Can we try the former queen?
Excuse me.
You heard me. See if it works. I waved to Priya.
She's already somewhere else.
Oh, she's gone.
Yeah, no, she's not in there.
What did Priya say? Hers.
Bullshit.
Are you trying to call my bluff?
Picks up the summons. This is the most generic one I've seen all week. There's no way you're from the High Clan.
Do you guys have a way to test blood by chance?
I can test if you're lying.
I assure you, I'm not lying.
You're going to submit to a test.
Oh, I'll gladly submit to a test. That sounds fun.
Zone of
I get to
truth.
waste your time? Oh.
Bring it over here. They wheel this cart over with this apparatus that is basically a series of crap just stacked on a whirling cart.
Fucking wheels and
Yeah, there's all
levers
sorts
and-
of stuff on it.
It's just called a whirligig.
Yeah, it's a whirly. Sit down. They lower a thing that levels at your eyes. It's basically a bar that just has a piece of quartz in it. And I need you to look into the bar for me.
Is he eating an eye
Staring.
Yeah, I'm gonna puff some air in there in a minute.
First
Look at the
question.
balloon in the background.
Control question.
Okay, go ahead.
You were born in the capital.
Can I roll for a history check to see if I was actually born in the capital?
Yeah, probably.
I don't know.
Natural 1
So you decide
for a
what
3.
that means.
Yes, I was born in the capital.
Second question. You were raised in the royal family.
Raised
I
is
was
a
not
strong
raised in the royal
word.
family.
Ragnar is your father.
Ragnar is not my father.
Ragnar is related to you how?
Dare I say accomplice?
By proxy?
More detail.
Stepfather.
You are claiming lineage to the queen.
Specifically the queen.
You are not adopted.
I am not adopted.
You swear by this on your blood and your life.
I'm not a betting man, so yeah.
The one guard just looking at it, looking at the readout and everything while the guy's been asking you questions.
Shit-eating grin.
There's... Take him off of him. He starts filling out some paperwork and everything. So back to that question of residence. Where are you going to be staying?
I got a couple thousand gold. I was thinking I was just going to buy some shitty little house. And just stay there and then sell it when I'm leaving.
Please claim your residency to the Ministry of Law when you get a chance.
Will do.
Hand you the scroll. Hand you an ID. An ID paper. I let you leave where Priya went.
Okay. Just going to skip after Priya.
I don't let you get within 10 feet of her.
Because Travis still doesn't know that bullshit. All right, well...
I just lean on you all fine. Oh, what's up, buddy?
Next.
Richard adds counsels to someone in Clantier that just actually walked through.
You're claiming his lawyer?
His counsel.
Okay. Family name?
I didn't choose one. Shit.
I got some options.
I mean, I have a lot of options.
Caleb.
You want to be from Caleb? Would you like to be Caleb's? Or would you like to be from one of the lower ones?
Caleb.
Solid
Okay.
option.
That makes sense. Okay. Residency?
None at the moment.
Last known residency?
Town about a week back.
Just curious. Date of last service?
Carry the one.
8 years ago.
Duration of service? I was just going to start looking through military records now. Duration of service?
7 years.
70?
7.
I thought you said 72. I was like, how old are you?
We
That's old as fuck.
Like, all of us heard 70, right? Y'all heard 70. I know somebody did.
I did.
Shit. Like, whoa. I mean, okay, but all right.
You look a little young there. What happens when you make a deal with the Fae?
Mm.
Okay. ID?
It's right there.
You do know you have family in the capital, yes?
Yes.
Planning to reside with them while during your duration?
Yes. They just don't know it yet.
Mm.
Surprise visits are always fun.
Let me tell you.
This one?
Hello.
Counsel again. He's my friend. He's here to help me.
Your assistant.
Yes.
Yes.
You are who?
Adrit of the tribe Kura, the current standing shaman.
Kra tribe. I don't know if we have an accurate listing of your families.
You can just write him in.
My late father, Adrok, my 2 younger brothers, Adjil and Advis, and my sister Uki.
It didn't start with an ad.
We made for it too, but it's nice that the women are different. You're from one of the southern tribes?
Yes.
All right. I'll get you a temporary. I'm assuming you don't have an ID with you.
No.
Fills it out. It takes a little bit of time. It gives you a temp ID.
Yay!
Please keep your residency and duration up to date with the Ministry of Law and with your partner, please.
Of course.
Carry on.
Perfect.
Thank you, Richard.
I got you, Adric.
That
Don't
made
worry.
things much easier than they probably would have been.
What was that?
I would not have been able to socially interact with you, Sir Guard.
You seem to do all right.
Not on my own.
Adric, let's go.
Goodbye now. I'm going to commit crimes unintentionally.
If someone calls about their missing spaghetti, it was not me.
Oh, look at this fish just hanging here. It's good.
Delicious. What a wonderful culture that they have free food around.
When you get on the other side of the gates, there's a giant thoroughfare that divides out. It's just spiders out in a bunch of ways. There's immediately a bunch of businesses, commercial setups have been put there, but they're large companies, not like, here, buy a souvenir. People are going to be receiving from one of the merchant gates or another. If you came in through one of the people gates, you wouldn't have them right in front of you. You instead have a nice thoroughfare that is very well groomed by probably an expansive list of gardeners, horticulturalists and things like that work for one guild or another that's contracted with some manner of the city. There is 2 things that are posted up practically everywhere, one of which is a general notice to be leery of flying lizard.
You misspelled dragon.
Yeah, remember that whole dragons are myths thing?
Not anymore. I saw that one.
Lizards are real. Dragons are questionable.
I don't know. I saw
Maybe one of
that
them just got big and got
fly.
wings. I don't know what to tell you.
You got swole.
Never seen one that big, but the only thing makes sense.
Just work out enough, you'll grow a couple extra limbs.
It might be one of your primitive cousins. Who knows? Or it's a future cousin.
Time travel.
God, I hope not.
I try not to. I got banned from it a while ago.
I don't want to get confused.
Aren't you already?
Shh.
The audience doesn't need to know.
But this notice is basically on a board that is set up to have magical writing on it, and that moves when they change it.
Yes, one of those billboards.
Essentially. It's very ornate. It's got a big onyx slab that the writing is on. That may have something to do with how it works. Don't know. It switches every now and then. It'll flip to a second one that seems to be some sort of period of mourning. And it has reference to the event in Palmaris, of course, and general observances for that. Past that, it's giving general directions of what's where and things like that. Most of it is confusing.
Where did Priya and Lamel say they were going to wait for us?
I do not
Thought
think
we
they
were
did
waiting.
say.
Huh.
Fuck.
We'll see what I can do.
Can I do an observation check for a big lizard?
Sure.
I will say, eventually, the other, 11 men or so will meet up with the two of them and give them directions.
Okay.
They may not, because they'd go through a different gate.
Well,
I rolled a 13.
assuming that they're still
Okay.
lost in town, in theory.
I'm going to cast a spell.
Where's Cassim?
Silent image.
So I was going for locate object.
Lamel, Priya, arrow.
So you do spot a lizard that's rather large in a scaled coat that looks kind of like brigandine armor. But it's made out of very nice patterned wool that has been quilted in places to make it look like the banding for brigandine armor. Each of the major points in which the armor would normally have like riveting and such, there's instead these brass pins that have been inlaid into it to give it an aesthetic that maintains this scaled looking pattern.
That's pretty fucking cool.
It has a scarf piece that's wrapped around, also having more of the crest pieces in it to give it true. I would probably say it looks closer to like an Annull's face, where it's got that longer snout, it's more sleek. You would assume that the thing is constantly slightly wet to the touch based on its scales and the shine, but you're not sure unless you actually want to touch the thing's
Yeah,
face.
you're gonna.
It has this really pretty leoparding pattern that goes from like the soft brown and like almost like milky yellow to like these deep black spots. It patterns the entire skin of this thing. And it doesn't have any actual scales. It's the lizard you find. Looks very proper, like it knows how to present itself.
Yeah, it's not the lizard I want, though, so I'm going to let him mind his business and
Okay.
continue to wander aimlessly.
You see a giant sign that says Lamel, Priya, and an arrow.
Advertising, I like it. I need my name up in lights more often.
I believe that's actually your friends.
Likely is.
They should find us eventually.
Yes.
Where do you want to go?
I do not know.
10 minutes later, you'll be found.
I feel like this is probably breaking some kind of law.
No one's arrested him yet.
You are not here.
I didn't cause a disturbance, a panic.
Yet.
Had
That
I?
guy's so fucking dapper. You look like a chum
It's
compared
just
to this guy.
words in the air. The billboard is words in the
It's like
air.
a Komodo
It's
dragon
the
guy.
same thing.
Yes.
Richard!
Lamel, finally.
I gotta say, I'm impressed.
I tried my best.
He did very well.
Excuse me, pardon me. Just people just start like pushing their way around you.
I've got to stop by the Ministry of Law because I plan on getting a place of residence while we're here.
Ooh,
I wasn't sure if y'all wanted to join me or not.
I should also do the same.
Okay. To the Ministry of Law. That long fucking walk.
You don't have to go all the way to the top.
Oh, thank God.
Should I go into Disney World?
See the head of the Ministry of Law. I'd like to buy a house.
Yeah, that would be absolutely ridiculous. I mean, I won't stop you if you want to go all the way up there.
Ah, no, I don't want to grandstand that badly.
Don't want to advertise. Okay. So you make it to a local office. The local office is probably near a watcher station, to be honest, along with a courthouse that's there. That's simple stonework. It's got all the fun writing across the top. You got to go inside. It's like marble floors, mirror polished, small columns everywhere, little stands that have people's like one-on-one conversations or maybe two-on-one conversations. There's no like money changing hands, but you can tell that each of the little desks is like a typical of a teller desk at a bank would be. Mm. The only big difference here, of course, is that it's not a bank. So they're settling clerk of the court kind of things, legal matters, paying fines, possibly petitioning for grievances, things like that. You got to wait in line. There's this
I love queuing.
beautiful steel banister with like a nice twine braid rope that rat mazes you like 3 or 4 times. Mm. You finally all get through this thing with all manner of people in varying states of economic status, including some that really shouldn't be in this building because they probably could afford to just have somebody come and visit at their house kind of level of lavishness. But they go and see somebody and they make a bit of a stink. Maybe they went to the lower court intentionally to cause problems, who knows. But you eventually finally get called. Melt here.
Hey, how's it going?
It's getting to be a long day. Got about another hour and a half. What can I do for you?
Well, part of coming to the city, I need a place of residence. I've got a budget of about 5,000 gold. I want to buy a house.
Holy shit, how much gold do you have?
Too much.
You took all.
I never distributed cash to like 3 people. Damn.
You literally took all.
Nope.
But I just didn't say
That was a smart decision because one of them is just dead.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm fine.
You are looking to buy a home. I assume you are not looking to purchase a new construction then.
No, what? No need. I'm not going to be here long.
So barring he pulls out a series of slabs that he has that he then puts a couple of books on. Are you looking for any particular kind of residence? Any sort of economic status or position within the city?
Hopefully not too lower class. Ideally, I'd like to be able to house 4.
So family home.
Yes.
I got a couple of options. I can show them to you tomorrow.
Tomorrow? I guess I can wave out a night. That's fine. You know, we set an appointment?
Yeah, I'll have one of my aides go and help you out with it. The first one is going to be up in the central quarter near the commercial district, and the other one is... That can't be right. There's no way it's that cheap.
Well, we did just have a massive dragon go out and rip the sacred tree, so I imagine the housing market's pretty good right now.
Yeah, but not that good. I'll have to check that one. We have 2... You don't want to go in the market district, so I'm assuming in a low, like near the gates and stuff.
I'd rather not.
Then I have 2 more up in the central areas, and we can check those out. So we'll have 3 in total at least to look at. That 4th one I'll look into if it's viable. We'll take a look tomorrow.
Sounds good.
How is lakefront property that cheap?
How indeed.
I am with him.
Okay. Sure.
Yes.
Well, that's all the business I have for you.
Good. Name's Robert.
Lamel, obviously.
Yes, gather that. Robert.
Adrian. Nice to meet you. My hands are clean.
I just expected it to be rougher.
I will keep this
He
in mind.
moisturizes daily.
This is Richard.
Hello, Richard. I'm Robert.
Nice to meet you, Robert.
Either myself or my aide will get with you tomorrow. Is there any legal fees or settlements or grievances you need to file from any of you?
Nope. No, not at the moment.
Okay. Then I will see you tomorrow.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Yes.
All right, that's all I got.
Yeah.
Ministry of Law, handling real estate. It's okay.
I got something to do.
A guild is what ends up handling the contract in the end, but still get a sign over who owns what.
Woo!
Where do you go?
Alright, so what do we do till tomorrow? Or when's the vote?
While they were inside, Priya went and got probably something sweet to drink and probably some sort of pastry and has probably already blown about 100 gold.
Yes.
And you're probably carrying random crap that she got.
As long as I also got a pastry.
Probably because she knows that you like. Want a bear claw? There you go. I don't know why they call them that. These things look more like a croissant, but whatever. Flaky pastry in this weird teeth shape. Maybe, I don't know.
You know, some bear claws look like fucking apple danishes.
They do. When you guys come out, Priya basically has a brown bag of stuff, comes over and everything. Pick one.
Not looking. This one.
Peach Danish.
Ooh, peach.
What is this?
That's a scone. It might be lemon. It could be blueberry. I can't tell you.
Cheese Danish. Always good.
Oh, well.
Pleasure.
I believe it is lemon.
Are you allergic?
I believe I am.
I've never seen a reaction so fast, just sneezing automatically. Do me a favor and take another bite. I'm curious.
It was unpleasant.
Brace yourself for the unpleasantness first, and then you may enjoy it. It's the same way with alcohol.
Hey, if you're not going to eat the lemon one, I will.
He's already probably taking a weird bite out of it, too.
It was not pleasant the second time either.
Lemon pastries are so
All right.
fucking good.
That's unfortunate. Here, swallow.
Just nom. But, oh, you should have savored that more.
Why?
Well, because peach is like the best flavor ever. That's why.
Incorrect.
But I am.
The fuck's wrong with him?
I don't know. I disagree with him all the time.
Clearly, you need to.
My two favorites is peach and pomegranate, and both are way too hard to get in the capital.
Peach for sure. Pomegranate. I like grapefruit a little more.
I don't like going out to the east that much.
I don't. I just have it shipped. It costs a fortune, but you know what? It's worth it.
Have you ever tried cabbage?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a whole
Stew.
cart over there.
That is my.
It's precariously perched on one of the slopes, too. And there's a couple of kids running down the hill right now.
That is my favorite.
Cabbage?
The cabbage.
Yes.
We can go get one.
I think I will.
Okay.
He goes and does that.
As you get up there, just because you did this, a couple of kids that are playing tag, one jumps and leaps on top of the rag cover that's there. The other one plows practically through the underneath of it, and it just kicks the brake on the wheel. And the whole cart starts sliding towards you.
I didn't want this many cabbages.
And the one guy's like, my cabbages!
I'm just gonna
This is Jen's fault.
Quick, catch him, you'll be the hero.
caught in between a rock and a hard place.
No, the cabbages aren't very hard.
Try to catch it.
Go ahead and make
Athletics?
athletics.
God.
The only roll that's happened. No, it's not.
We made history rolls.
You made
we
knowledge
had plenty
checks.
of history.
10.
Oh, I thought it was a nat 20. I was going to be real excited.
So you catch it.
Mhm.
Roll a d4 for me.
Stubs your toe.
3.
I believe in you.
As you catch it, the jostle of you grabbing the cart real quick, 3 cabbages kind of come off the cart at you a bit and then like start to fall to the floor.
No, precious things. And I just try to grasp onto them. Probably catch one in my mouth.
Do you have a reaction bite attack?
I have a bite attack. It's not a reaction.
Oh, that'd be so funny. Just
No.
I mean, does it count as an opportunity?
it is.
Oh my god. No. Make a second athletics for me. Not that I'm trying to make these cabbages go downhill,
6.
but they do anyway.
I was like, someone let go of the cart.
So you let go of the cart to grab the 3, and the cart runs you over. Not heavily, but just enough to bounce over you.
It's like that one image of Squidward with the squashed face.
As the cart goes to like run over you, it goes boom, and then just dumps all of the cabbages down the hill.
What have I done?
And the one person's like, "Why would you do that to my cabbages?"
I tried to say. I rummage through my coin pouch, and I just pull out, like, just frantically because I have no grasp of currency, just 30 gold pieces.
Hey. What's happening here?
Why did it say failed to remove? Hold on.
I think your friend is
Even
being-
technology's going, no, that's expensive.
I said the minimum amount allowed to be removed for each currency type is 0. I put 30.
It didn't register it.
Oh, I see. Because I have it all in platinum, okay.
Oh, I was about to go.
So yeah, I pull out 3 platinum coins and I'm just like, and I just kind of throw them in his direction.
Congratulations, Adra. You brought the entire...
He's looking for the last coin that he didn't get.
I broke the market.
He could totally forgot about the cabbages.
Yes, you do. Yeah.
Bought the whole cart.
Hey, and I'm just like turning around as I see more rolling. I'm like, still salvageable. Cabbage. Just grabbing as many as I can.
You see this insanity that is this lizard that is now juggling probably like 20 different cabbages that are constantly dropping, and he's grabbing, picking up his tail, even probably has one curl around it. It looks ridiculous.
I grab another pastry and watch.
I go help my friend.
Okay.
Richard, quick, this
I'll
is a
protect Priya
catastrophe.
from the
They are everywhere.
now
see that.
rolling even more quickly downhill cabbages.
She's uphill, but all right.
I thought we were down there.
You're down the hill.
He is.
No, you guys are down the hill. That was
Yeah.
uphill.
Oh,
I'm gonna protect
I'm sorry.
Priya from the cabbages and do your job.
No, I thought that we were uphill with
No.
the cabbages.
Yeah, I mean, not coming right at you, so it's all right. This is more just
We'll
because
step 2
we had to
inches
make
to
a
the
bad
right.
reference to a show we all love.
Yeah.
So
But I got cabbages out of it, so.
you do.
Who's the
You
real
have
winner?
all of them.
Yeah.
All 7 bushels.
I mean, well, you gotta catch
I'm gonna write that
them.
down.
You couldn't carry them all.
I have a backpack,
That's what the cart is
right?
for.
Yeah, no, there was a cart filled with them.
Yeah, well, you have a cart
You
now
just bought
too.
them all.
I have a cart now,
Let's see, they're copper a piece. He just gave how much gold again?
30.
Yeah, no, you probably bought the cart. You're probably
Yeah.
right.
Alright, yeah, I have the cart now. Alright, let me just write this
This guy
down.
just takes the 2 platinum because he never finds the 3rd one.
I had
He
custom
doesn't care and
item,
leaves.
cart full of 7 bushels of cabbage.
I think you paid a little too much for this, too.
I
but
think that I have the cabbages. That is all that matters.
Fair
Bunch
enough.
of near mint cabbages. Some lightly used.
I guess he really liked his cabbages.
Apparently.
Do not underestimate the power of greens.
Yeah, we'll get you a cabbage patch. Don't worry.
He reminds me of the giant birds that used to run around on the far range.
Oh, yes!
Really does.
It was at this point that Adrit found his true calling as a farmer.
As a cabbage merchant.
Cabbage merchant!
Casual reference.
Uh,
Anyway, are you going to drag that entire cart with you?
It would be a waste not to.
Yeah.
Does the royal court have anything against cabbages?
No, you did buy it legally.
well, actually, I could think of probably a few reasons why the royal court would have a problem with cabbages, but that's neither here
Oh,
nor
I mean,
there.
it's not going to take it in, so it's all right.
Oh, no,
Well,
he
But
would.
if I wanted to,
He would. 100%.
and is that not allowed?
That's not allowed.
That is no fair.
It's
You'll be,
improper.
you'd be allowed to keep the cabbages. You just wouldn't be allowed to take them in.
But what if other people want cabbages?
And they can go outside and get one.
Or I could bring them inside.
No.
Pointless.
I don't think I want to explain this etiquette anymore.
It's not worth it.
It's heartbreaking, isn't it?
Where are you all staying?
I've got a realtor working with me tomorrow from the ministry, so until tomorrow, nowhere.
Well,
Suppose you wouldn't put us up for the night.
you
That would be correct.
want to go home that bad, huh?
Oh, fuck. I should think before I open my
Too
mouth.
late now. Taxi. One of those carts that was back at the small town come pulling up slowly with this loud, like,
Staying the night at the Tears house.
sound. Almost like a throaty muscle car version of the Jetsons. As the thing just kind of pulls up. Go ahead. Get in.
If you insist.
I don't,
I
but
believe you insisted.
Well, shit. I'm already getting on.
as everybody gets on, to the tier quarter, please. And it starts to go the very long, hour-long trek all the way up this city. You get to see all manner of this different changes that happen. You go from what is a bustling, heavy market up into a commercial area that's just filled with people going to, from, and some of them are working, some of them are shopping, some of them are just living. There's people on dates, there's people in arguments, there's people playing with their kids, and there's kids causing trouble. There's every manner of things that you would expect to see one way or another occurring as you go up. All the while, the level of just sheer care to present the city in a certain way increases. In the markets, in the commercial areas, it's maintained by the companies, the guilds, these private interests, individuals, whatever. So that's much more chaos involved. There's some crime in the streets. People wash it out as they can. As you get higher up, you get into some of the residential areas that have a little bit of wealth to them. You can see hired people that come and sweep the streets, pick up refuse, things like that, garden.
If you drop one of those cabbages, you're not getting it back.
I will guard them with my life.
Just imagine you hitched it to the back of the wagon.
That's what I've been imagining the whole time too. And he's had to throw something, take the canopy down onto it so that it doesn't fall out.
Mm-hmm.
The whole thing just bouncing all the way up. By the time you get up there, that cart's going to be useless because it's going to be broken.
Cabbages will be good.
I mean, it'll make it up there. It's just going to be broken. When you get up into some of the commercial areas for what would be upper middle class for the society as a whole, you get to the point where it's like boutiques, individual named small shops that the people probably live above or they live next to, depending on how it's built. And these places are probably patronized by maybe 20, 30 people in a month, if that. And they survive just by the small amounts they make and whatever other agreements they may have. Maybe in a small neighborhood, a butcher has an agreement with a salon, which also has an agreement with, some sort of connection to one of the farm guilds, which then has so on connections, right? And they're all bartering, trading more than they're doing currency exchange. There's probably some money that changes hands because of discrepancies. But past that, when you get up into the Lake District, the opulence kicks in real quick. Mansions that are built up here to just decent size estates. None of them are really fenced in so much as gridded out. Entire place looks like it's mapped, planned, and executed in such a way that you would run a maze through the place. But if you were to look at it from the air, the choices would be obvious. That would get you from point A to point B. once you've learned the back road or the straight roads or whatever you would need to get through one area or another, it would be child's play to get through. But the initial disorientation, had the taxi not been driving, would have probably got you lost for a couple hours just going from one end of the Lake District to the other. You do go along the inner part, along the lake itself, and you see the island that has now a crater and ripped up roots that are sticking up in the air in different places, spidered out. Parts of the lake center are covered in this red viscous fluid that's kind of just floating like an oil slick in varying places. And the central island has a couple of marble, ancient-looking houses with thatch roof and clay tile. And you can see some people milling about over there, which suggests that guard is still on that island. She can't make any details out, but you can see that they're there. There are no boats that are over there anyway. There are some on the lake. Most of them are simple, overdone.
Boats on the...
On the regular lake.
Okay, not the blood
Not
lake.
in the center part.
Okay.
They're on the outer part. This lake's huge. It's miles across. So, I mean, you're seeing
Yeah.
the thing in the middle. That's one thing. And even that's just kind of fuzzy at its distance. There's nobody really fishing, per se, on the lake. It's not like there's commercial anything on this lake. But there are boats. Mostly people doing pleasure, rowing, stuff like that. Past that, you get on the other side of these manors, and you go up one more. Now you're into the 6 sections of the ministry, or the ministries and plus the Lapis. The ministry areas are disturbing. They're too refined, too perfect, too clean. The architecture is imposing to the point of go away. The amount of metals used to augment the building construction and the statuary and everything that's here looks like it's a garden for the dead in memorial, more than it looks like anything else. None of it looks like it's in ill repair, though some of the statues do have weathering cracks from time that have been replaced. And what they've done is they've injected bronze into the cracks to reinforce the statues, which makes a lot of the statues look incredibly odd. Like they have these veins of metal, molten metal, like run through them, even though it doesn't move at all. Their bases have these slabs of very dark granite with etchings of explain whoever these people might be. Some of them are actually crypts or mausoleums, monoliths that recognize it. As you go past the gateways that would go up into the actual clan quarters, the taxi stops. It can't go any higher. It doesn't have clearance to do so. So it stops at this station that is ornate in a simpler sense. It's a simple archway. It has what looks like knotwork with a metal handrail and stairs that go into the bowels of the earth. And it drops you off here. The entire station, if you will, is big enough to put maybe 4 people across, 2 on each side of the banister going down. It's pretty small compared to everything else in the area. And you wouldn't even see it here unless you knew. There's no signs. It doesn't say shit.
If you know, you know.
That's how it works. You got to go down into the bowels of the mountain that's there. You go down 100 stairs in total.
We counted.
They're in groups of 10, separated in 10 flights. Gives you an idea of how far apart they are because each one is a story. More or less. But you know you're having rather large drops, which kind of sucks. Whoever takes these daily must have thighs of like a god because it's just ridiculous. You get down to the platform that's there, and it's just a wooden platform. No real crazy ornamentation, and a tunnel. It goes left, it goes right. Doesn't go anywhere else. And there's no tram in sight. Priya looks at Travis for this one and goes, "Oh, if they turn them off. And they make me walk the 1,000 stairs. I will take someone to court."
I mean, I can go check.
You're free. What are you gonna do? Run down one of the tunnels? All right.
Priya, if there is an issue, I propose a deal. I would like you to use your influence to convince them to let me bring my cabbages inside the royal court. In exchange, if there is no transportation device...
How did you even get those down those stairs?
Effort. In exchange, if there is no transportation device, I shall carry you the 1,000 steps.
I mean, I guess you'd get them into the clan sections if you walked up the 1,000 stairs. I don't know how you're going to get them on the tram. Provided Travis finds one. Travis is going.
So I'm not running very far.
No, I figured out.
I'm going just a little bit in and like because there's metal. It's like a train track situation.
It's in
Okay.
the ceiling.
I'm going to like touch it to see if I can feel that it's further down kind of thing.
Okay, perception for me. Let's see if you feel the vibrations of that thing moving.
That's a 3 plus a number that's probably not going to be helpful.
I don't imagine anybody has a bonus high enough to go past that.
I don't imagine. Ooh, 7.
7 total? Okay.
But what bonus do you think I have?
Hmm?
What bonus do you think I have?
I mean,
It's
total.
not
It's a plus
enough
4.
to give you a 10 or better from a 3.
Yes, it is.
Oh, I'll be damned.
Mine's not.
I'm surprised. I wouldn't expect it.
Our perception,
All right, fine.
our performer,
I will
our
sit
magicer.
corrected.
My dice are
Yes.
garbage.
I do things.
You don't really feel any vibration in the thing, but it's not cold. It suggests it's been used.
Okay. I'll go back. Running late.
Or maybe they're running less.
Big meeting. It seemed rather important.
Yeah, it's interesting how they managed to hire so many watchers so quickly.
They're all private, or they're probably privately.
You think the family guards were just conscripted in real quick?
Well, no, I think they're probably coming from the familiars. They just conscripted them temporarily.
Or from the guilds.
They could pull. Yeah, both of those could be pulled in. And if they're doing that, that means the Ministry of War's in charge of all of it.
Well, let's get comfy.
That's just about a guarantee, isn't it?
Actually, yeah, with that thing that came and took the tree,
They're gonna basically enact martial law here
that'll stop the vote.
if they wanted to. Yeah. I don't see why they would want to stop it.
True, it doesn't really affect them one way or another like that. And it's not pleasant to think that they can. You hear this as this thing is making its way down.
Making its way downtown.
As it's coming around the thing, what you basically see is this eggshell that is stonework. It's really what it looks like coming at you.
Yeah, I'm not sitting in there if the cart's coming with.
And you're not sitting in there.
As that the piece comes around, you can tell that it has it's the best way to describe this entire thing is this strange pod that you could, like I said, put on a Ferris wheel, made out of pure stone that's been carved out of essentially an egg shape. It does not have a roof. Instead, it has a pylon that goes up into the ceiling and connects to that bar piece that's on there. In that pylon, there's a series of wires that wrap around it that are encased in what looks like glass, so you don't touch it. There are a few benches that are in there, and the front side of it, basically, or where the egg part is, that would be the front, it has benches that run the side and then kind of loop around. On the very back part of it has a general platform where you can kind of set bags and stuff like that in. It's not big enough to hold a cart, but you could put a series of like milk crates and bags, things like that. Saddlebags would work fine. Backpacks, a duffel bag.
A disassembled cart.
This is so sad. I'm going to say before you continue describing, Adra, he sees this as like, I see how things are. Just shoves the cart aside, grabs one cabbage, starts to eat it like an apple, and just gets on the thing.
Hey, you know what? Fuck it.
I tossed a couple cabbages in my backpack.
Richard for the win.
Should I point it out, or do you want to?
You're welcome to.
You know the portion that holds the baskets will still hold more.
But it cannot bring the entire cart.
But you could bring a bushel or two.
I shall bring a bushel or two.
There we go.
So you go and pull out the wicker that is the bushel of... I kind of told you wouldn't be able to take the whole cart with.
You cannot blame a man for having dreams.
Might I suggest you taking that up on the outside of the
Stairs?
stairs? If you leave it down here and they find out you did, you're probably going to get fined.
They will not find out that I did.
Is the
He does have a point.
is the
It is
cart
a-
that's coming up holding 2 guards by chance?
There's no guards on this
Okay.
one, no.
This is a random, mostly broken cart of...
That was dragged behind one of the taxis into the ministry quarter. It'll be pretty obvious where it came from.
Yeah, but whose name's on that cart? If we're going to talk about committing laws, who's liable here?
Good point.
Not that I'm one for breaking laws, but
So
It is
you're-
a stupid law. Whoever comes down here and finds this cart should be rejoice. It is free cabbages.
Leave it. It's okay. Look, we'll put it over into the side, and we'll just put a sign on it that says free cabbages, take one.
Precisely.
It's fine.
My
It'll
heart,
be like going to the games.
my heart is set aflutter once more, that I can be the provider of free cabbages to those in need.
You're
I
probably...
assure you the people here are not in need of cabbages.
Everyone needs cabbages.
Don't be that way, Mel. Maybe they want some roughage in their life. Time will tell.
I'm well.
So, as you all get onto the tramway, I guess is a good way to put this. I don't know if I want to call it a subway. I don't want to start that. You make it
the monorail.
monorail? Yeah, okay.
I can wait.
No, okay. It was, the door just popped in, and both Josh and I are like, "What just happened?"
No, I figured Josh was holding me out.
Oh,
I figured he was being a dick about it.
yeah. Oh well. As you guys go into there, you find that the place doesn't illuminate itself like the tunnel. Instead, the part that's the crest is what illuminates as it gets past where there would be any natural light. It basically bioluminesces all the quartz that's in the stonework. It's enough light to read by, but it's not enough light to like really see on. You'll be lucky to get 10 feet past the tram car, if that. But it's nice mood light if you need it, and it'll keep you from getting your wallet stolen, theoretically.
Yeah.
As you go further and further into the place, you start feeling as it kind of starts like this, and then it slowly starts ascending. But it doesn't angle. It just starts kind of lifting as it keeps going forward. Stabilizing itself somehow. You can see the mechanism in the glass that's in the bottom as it's actually pivoting and stabilizing to keep the platform level as it's going up. This is probably 40 minutes inside this thing.
Fun.
And if anybody has any sort of claustrophobia issue, it would have kicked in 10 minutes ago. If not, which I'm assuming nobody's character is claustrophobic,
Not
cool.
mine.
Because you are essentially in a mine at this point.
And they called it a mine. A mine!
You eventually
yours.
come across a station. The first one that comes up isn't the one you need.
Wow.
Because as it comes up, it goes up, and then it goes along the thing, and then it goes back down. And there are stations that are below that it goes across as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it has like this weird eggy shape. Not oval, like splat egg on a pan, eggy shape. Eventually, you make it to the tier clan quarters. Standing there are house guards. You've seen them before. Most of you all would never have seen these specific ones. Travis definitely has to. The clan tier house guards are in red and black armor, mostly. It's almost a seamless armor, like it's a second skin of metal that wraps around from neck to foot.
That is a really cool description.
It clamshells them into such an extent that it's kind of odd that you don't see weapons on them. They stand at attention when they notice you and Priya specifically. And they just assume that you're cleared to come with, so they don't really do much to harass anybody. But they have gates that are there that are just pure force bars. And there's an emitter, you can see up on the top, that is basically a series of crystals inlaid in and wiring that runs out of it. And there's some on the bottom doing the same thing into this metal machinery that's on the side that has a set of levers and some buttons. One of the house guards nods at Travis, immediately does a salute to Priya, which I'm not going to do because my brain forgot which one it is, as I was about to go do something dumb.
Yeah.
I was just going to, but I'm like, that's not the one.
Anyway.
Foggy. Anyway, does a salute and everything. Ma'am, who are they?
Her entourage.
How?
We'll take that as a no.
Not now, Edger.
I'm so deeply hurt. The Lamel tier not recognized as ancestral home. Oh, the woe.
Who?
Bitch!
Lamel tier.
You guys assume your family then. Not hers, but I assume your clan family.
I'm our family, yeah.
You're a little old. Or young. And you definitely don't look like the prince.
No, I don't look like him. I've got an idea if you want it.
I do. That is a really wild claim. I'm not asking any more questions.
That's
Just gonna do my
probably
job.
for the best.
Just not gonna bother.
Cabbage now?
Sure. Only so many weird things are gonna happen today. Peels off a couple of the leaves because he knows it's probably dirty.
Yeah.
Puts them in a trash can. Keeps the main part of the cabbage. Oh, go ahead. I'm not even.
Alright, cool. Let's go.
Travis, one moment.
I could just shock people into letting me do anything. Oh, this is great. We need to go to a bar and do this.
Kill him if you get the chance. Or the prince might.
That's for an exciting dinner.
Actually, a second thought. Let him get killed by the prince. It'll be simpler. Keep a good eye on him. All of them.
Do not worry,
I said
Lamel.
specifically these two.
I do not think anyone will kill you.
As you go up the
I don't think we're supposed to be hearing that.
30 stairs,
Oh, okay.
the 3 flights of 10 going out, you arrive in the ancestral clan section, which looks very old. Like hella old.
Hella.
Like,
Yeah.
they're still... my brain forgot what they're called. Plinth and like Stonehenge. My brain's not working.
Oh, yes.
Those kind of entryways to the buildings are still there. Post and lintel. Yes, there we go. I will remember eventually words, I promise. But the structures themselves aren't really modernized too much. You can tell that there's not electricity being pumped into the buildings. It is all over the streets, though. But the buildings themselves seem to be traditional. There are a couple that are 2 stories, but most are not. It's built in a series of 2 circles and one building in the dead center of that. That's the one Priya starts heading towards. She stops at the second ring, in the inner ring, at a house that's near it. And it's not ornate from the outside. It's got simple windows, round cuts, wood structure supporting glass. It actually looks like it belongs as in like an earthen hovel in a field more than it looks like on mountains. But nonetheless, it's here. She knocks twice and goes ahead, motions Travis to go ahead and open the door. They should know I'm coming. And as the door opens, there's a woman standing there whose very fair skin, almost pale complexion to sickly looking, sullen, bit face, malnourished to some extent from the appearances, stringy, probably run out blonde hair, might have been dark once, definitely is not any longer, haunts the doorway and lamels past. You recognize the woman.
I do now. Oh.
And you don't know why she would be here. Because the last time you saw her, she was quite hale. And there was no reason for her to be in a major clan house. She was in the clan, but not family by any stretch. And then a little girl peeks from behind your leg.
Hi.
Oh no.
And that's where we're going to close game. I want to thank everybody for coming to Magnus Aevum, episode 12. Has anybody got any closing things they wish to say otherwise?
That's his fucking daughter, isn't it?
How
You're
much
playing
do
his
I-
daughter.
How much do I owe in alimony?
Well, that's a
Interesting
twist.
question.
That's
You never know.
That's a fucking twist.
What a twist.
With a twist. Alrighty, everybody. Well, we want to thank you for coming. We will see you again on the next episode of Magnus Aevum, episode 13, which, barring any other weird consequences of life, will be next Monday. We will still, unfortunately, be short a one Dominus, i.e. Jason, and a positive child. That might be Lamel's. We'll find out.
Who knows?
Alrighty, well, everybody have a wonderful evening. Thank you very much for coming, and stay
Drive
awesome.
safe.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.